cultfigga TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host. The y'all mean a revolution. And we got Big U facing 600 years. Ooh, Lord. It's Wack 100 witness number 2. Before we get into that, be sure to wipe your feet. That means hit the like button. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. Salute, family. Let's get right into it. Big U facing forever. Will he keep it 100 like John Gotti, or will he be the new Alpo?
Lee Jr. is heading to trial. Last month, he was named in a 43-county federal indictment, and this afternoon, he pleaded not guilty during his arraignment. Prosecutors accuse Henley of running a criminal enterprise involving murder, human trafficking, robbery, and extortion. They also say Henley, known as Big U, has ties to the notorious Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips street gang. His trial is scheduled for May 20th.
All right, so it looks like we've got some Big U updates and news today, right? Big U was indicted on a 43-count indictment that was filed last month in Los Angeles that charged him with a single count of conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, along with multiple counts of robbery, extortion, wire fraud, embezzlement, and a few other crimes. Now, Big U, after he was arrested, he was arraigned, and in that arraignment, he pled not guilty to his charges. We watched a news clip at the beginning of this video about that. And so Big U has pretty much been waiting on trial. And in the meantime, he has been getting ready to go in front of the judge and argue for why he thinks he should get bond. That hearing is supposed to take place today. In fact, by the time this video comes out,
Revolutionary salute to our brother Lunch Break Chronicles for the donation to the war chest. Revolution is way of life. Appreciate the love, family. He say definitely going out like Alpo. Revolutionary salute. Oh, you say he not going out like John Gotti, who did his life in the John Gotti did his life in prison, didn't tell shit, did his time. So you say he gonna be Alpo? It's bigger than me. Okay, salute. We in here.
Out, it may have already taken place, and if Big U is successful, then he could be released from detention on bond. However, prosecutors are expected to argue that Big U will present a threat to the community, the victims, and witnesses if he's allowed to go free. And so that brings us into what we got today. They actually filed a memorandum in support of detention, and so y'all know I have a copy of it right here. You can see that the hearing date is April 22nd at 9:30 in the morning, and they've got Big U listed here as the defendant, right? It says Eugene Henley Jr., which is Big U's real name, also known as Big U, also known as Unc, also known as Draws, also known as Hannibal, also known as Hannibal Muhammad, also known as Anybody Killer, also known as Dave Austin. God dang, bro. Anybody Killer is crazy. Getting into the document, we got the introduction here. It says, for decades, defendant Eugene Henley Jr. has put on a public facade masquerading as a reformed gang member and legitimate businessman whose only ambition was to better his community, but defendant wasn't helping Crenshaw, he was helping himself. In the shadows, defendant was secretly operating as a kingpin of a criminal enterprise that has ruled Los Angeles through violence, fear, and intimidation. Now, he seeks pre-trial release under the guise of his reform persona, even though his criminal activities have included murder, extortion, robbery, wire fraud, bank fraud, and human trafficking. The court should see through Big U's farce and keep him in custody for the safety of the community. To avoid custody, defendant will no doubt continue his double dealing as he did to celebrities and donors that he duped into believing they were helping young, underprivileged athletes chase their dreams, when in reality, they were unwittingly lining Big U's pockets as he embezzled donation after donation. Even in his short time in custody, he is up to his old tricks, once again, trying to use some of these same celebrities for his personal gain. He has even suggested that he can manipulate the president of the United States into intervening in the case and dropping the charges.
I don't understand. This dude, Big U, really is a dummy, y'all. You in federal prison and you're on the phone with your family saying, I think I can manipulate Trump into getting me a pardon. I believe Big U, see, he might not be as dumb as we think. And he like, I got some information. And he big, you know everything. All them people he been shaking down, he know all of the day. You know Puffy secrets, goddamn it. He was shaking that punk down too. Big, you know a lot. But for you to be talking, Trump might be like, boy, he said my name on the phone. Oh man, y'all get rid of him. Boy, you don't be saying Trump name on that hot ass phone, boy. Trump ain't gonna pardon you talking like that, big you.
Even as he simultaneously derisively refers to the president as the orange man while in custody. And I think what they're talking about there is Big U had a phone call while he was in prison. And I guess on that phone call, he was talking about he might be able to manipulate Trump into giving him a pardon, even if he's convicted. Anyways, it goes on. It says this court should not be fooled by the good deeds.
Manipulate Trump. You mean snitch nigga? He trying to act like OG on the phone to people. Y'all might be able to manipulate. You mean you might be able to cooperate and give them some evidence? Who the hell you think you playing with? You gonna manipulate Trump? Just tell your family the truth. You're gonna snitch to the government.
The defendant promises to accomplish if only he could close the detention doors behind him. The truth is that he will undoubtedly cause exponential harm to the case, to the community, and to others if he were released. Defendant should remain detained for the safety of the community, the victims and witnesses in this case. And then they got in parentheses here, in defendant's own words, if I would have had a problem with any man, the issue would have been resolved and he wouldn't be here, or I wouldn't be here. And that's a quote that they got from an intercepted call that Big U had on his wiretapped cell phone on December 31st of 2022. Right. And
this nigga knew the feds was on his trail, bro. This nigga knew the feds. He knew the people was on his ass. This nigga was still talking reckless on their phone. And that's why I said a lot of people, right? This nigga done talk reckless to a lot of people on their hot ass phone. This is some of the shit they hitting them with right now. This nigga talking about murder. This nigga talking about all kind of crazy, reckless nonsense on that hot ass phone, and he knew it was hot too. Boy, that's crazy.
We seen this quote in the original indictment that dropped. Anyways, back to the document. They say that he should remain detained for the safety of the community, the victims and witnesses in this case, and for the hope of some semblance of justice for the families of his victims. Indeed, with seemingly just hours of notice of his impending arrest, Big U has already destroyed valuable evidence, attempted to paint false narratives of his criminality in the public, and publicly condemned his enemies by name. He cannot be allowed to continue his obstructive path. And I think they're referring to the video he made right before he turned himself in that he posted over on Instagram. It says any supporters that Big U may offer as sureties will not protect the community. They did not save RW, which is Rayshawn Williams, the kid that Big U is accused of killing. They did not save RW, whom defendant murdered and abandoned in the desert. They did not save defendant's countless extortion and embezzlement victims whom Big U terrorized or tricked for years. They did not stop Big U from leaving Los Angeles in the midnight hours before his arrest, or
this nigga thought he was finna be able to present the same celebrities he been shaking down to put in a good word for him. I mean, this is some delusion. This is some grand delusional bullshit right here, bro. This is crazy, bro. They know you was not a community. They know you was shaking these people down. None of these people gonna be able to come present you no word. Are you crazy? You ain't gonna be able to present TD Jakes or no fucking body to have a good word. You're not Farrakhan. Nobody gonna be able to come say nothing good on your behalf, bro. If they even try, they're gonna indict their ass. They're gonna say, oh yeah, you knew the other shit too, goddammit.
Hurling thinly veiled threats in the lead up to his surrender. This court should have no trouble finding that Big U represents a danger and a risk of non-appearance, non-compliance with court orders that cannot adequately be mitigated through release conditions. With the utmost respect to pretrial services, pretrial supervision is not enough. Pretrial services is basically the people that are tasked.
This nigga trying to present NBA players and rap. He trying to present, he got Gunner gonna come speak on his man. Boy, you crazy? They know all about the who Shaq? Nigga, they say you shaking him down. Who else? Let me guess. Draymond Green. He gonna speak on your behalf. They say you shook him down too. Come on, man. This is crazy. This the
giving people that have been arrested on federal charges stipulations for the release. Right, like you have to check in.
Hello, revolutionary salute to our family at BLACK money sign. He say for the donation to the war chest. Revolution is a way of life. Appreciate the love, fam. He say Jay Prince better be scared because of for sure. He for sure getting told on. This the thing. When I say this nigga was talking over that hot ass phone, remember he went to Jay's birthday party. I can guarantee you, salute family, this nigga talked records about Wack 102 Jay Prince on that hot ass motherfucking phone. I can guarantee you he did. I guarantee you he talked real reckless to a lot of niggas, especially Jay, about Wack 100 on that hot ass motherfucking phone. But I appreciate the love, family. Salute. You absolutely right.
And with the officer, you have to maybe take drug tests or maybe wear an ankle monitor. Pretrial services is who does all that. So they say, with respect to pretrial services, they cannot do enough to ensure that Big U isn't in danger or to ensure that he'll appear in court. It says, for the sake of the community, Big U should remain in custody. Then it gets into the statement of facts. And then it's got bullet point A. It says, defendant is a dedicated Rolling 60s member and leader of his own violent racketeering enterprise. It says Big U is an avowed...
Rick Ross finna make a platinum song. I think I'm Big U. Rick Ross finna make a platinum song about this nigga.
And famed member of the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips. As early as 1992, the Los Angeles Times described Big U as the leader of that gang, and little has changed as defendant has aged. As he states in many interviews when asked about any gang tattoos, he says, it ain't on you, it's in you. And I can only think of one time that I remember hearing Big U say this, and it was during a DJ Vlad interview.
You know, I'm one of them guys who just here.
Just around.
Put it like this. It ain't on you, sometimes it's in you.
Imagine the feds use this shit. They use every video this nigga went on talking about it. See, had he really been out the game, none of this shit would have mattered. Had he really been the activist, had he really been doing his community work, getting all that money, they couldn't have used none of this shit because he would have moved on. It would have been no RICO. But now all of this is part of his RICO because they're showing it's a continuality of his crimes. The activist, they say, is a facade. And the only way they know is because he told us. I couldn't believe how this nigga came on camera several times and said it was a facade, said he was the leader of the Rolling 60s, said he's still active. They got him on the phone saying he the only OG still killing people. Imagine that. Nigga, your phone is tapped. What do you mean you the only OG still killing people?
You know what I mean? You kind of like you walk a certain life and you live a certain life and you from a certain area. I like to tell dudes I ain't from nowhere. I am there. That's what I am. You know what I mean? Like it's where it's in your heart.
So it's got that in here. It says, indeed, Big U's gang ties run deep in his blood. Defendant has loudly recounted the terror he installs for years. In various interviews, Big U recounts selling narcotics, taking a percentage of all illegal activity in the neighborhood, leading the quote-unquote body snatchers, kidnapping.
This the crazy part. This nigga told on himself. All that, man, Wack just played along. This nigga was telling on himself, just telling. Boy, this internet is a dangerous drug. God damn. That nigga could, jealousy. He really wanted that. He was chasing. Nigga, you Big U, what the fuck is you? No, he wanted everybody. No, nigga, you a king in your own community for all that. I want the whole world to know I'm bullying and I'm starting, and I'm the one behind this shit. Suge wouldn't have had no death row if I would have been out. All that time, I love Suge, but nigga, you don't love nigga. You talk about he wouldn't have had no nothing. That's crazy. Okay, if a nigga can't even have no record business, nigga, this was gonna happen. You going to federal prison, nigga. Fuck you mean nigga can't have no record business if you out of jail. And he said that.
When eventually going to prison, where he claims he immediately paid off the guards and started to take a percentage of drug sales in the facility. Now, after an investigation spanning more than 4 years, the defendant was charged with running the Big U enterprise from at least 2010 until his arrest, which often used the Rolling.
To make on their deathbed. I was still a leader. This nigga supposed to told this shit on his deathbed. He 89 finna check out. I'm still finna leader of the Rolling 60s. I fooled y'all. I never been no activist. And the police, oh shit, we can't convict him. Old man died. Nope. I still in his he came on camera and told the whole world I'm the active leader of the Rolling 60s and I extort people for a living.
Rolling 60s as muscle in his criminal activities. Specifically, Big U, often assisted by Rolling 60s and other members and associates of the Big U enterprise, used intimidation.
Revolutionary salute to our family there. BLACK money sign for the donation to the war chest. Revolution is way of life. Absolutely appreciate the love, family. Say, bro, if you ever been around anybody from 60, they never really fit him, bro. It ain't never seen nothing like it. what you say? They really feel. Hey, well, first of all, let me tell y'all something. I'm joking and we laughing. This is a very dangerous man. I ain't bullshitting. This man is vicious, bro. Vicious. You know, to his own kind, because he wasn't pulling that shit with the motherfucking Mexicans who putting green lights on people in California and LA area and all that type of shit. And white supremacists really running shit. Like I say, even his paperwork proves you ain't started no motherfucking Mexicans and no motherfucking whites. They got it all, nigga. You only preyed on your people. Nigga, I'm trying to tell y'all, bro, it don't take much to be the bully black people. You know what I'm saying? It don't take much, bro. You know, you don't take much. You pull that shit off with the Mexican mafia, nigga, then you're a legend. But even his paperwork, he wanted to rob black weed dispensaries. And after he was bullying that black dude, they say, hey, you know anybody else we can do this to? Bitches, plenty of Mexicans and whites, they got it in California, bro. Why you not fucking with them like that, niggas? He didn't want them to put a man on his motherfucking head and wipe his ass out of one of them niggas next to it or blew his motherfucking head off for that money. That's why. You see what I'm saying? But he's a very dangerous criminal. But this the thing, though, by blackface Ku Klux Klan members like him. You just another motherfucker nigga when you go into them federal prisons where he going. Nigga ain't nobody in there. El Chapo them and the nigga, Unabomber. Nigga Hoover in there. Who the hell are you, nigga? Who the hell are you? Jeff Fort, all them. Who are you? Come on, bro. Now he's gonna find out. You nobody in that, nigga. Nah, nigga, you can't impress nobody with none of that bullshit that you say you was doing, nigga. And everybody now got real time to do, nigga. He need to understand, nigga. You going to the places, nigga, where they got forever in a day, nigga. You know what that is?
Intimidation, fear, violence, threats of violence, assault, extortion, and murder in the streets for power and profit. Through the media and his nonprofit Developing Options, Big U portrayed himself as a neighborhood savior in drawing in donations and government resources intended to benefit at-risk youth. But
nigga, you want to fuck? I'm the King Crip, nigga. Tuka got killed. They gave Tuka the death penalty, nigga. See, we gotta be careful what the fuck you wish for, nigga, when you want to be the king of the black crime empire. Hoover done 50, nigga. You got 50 in you, Big U? You got a 50 in you? Suge wouldn't have never. Nigga, Suge locked up. He doing it, nigga. You ready to go back to prison and do your podcast like Suge, nigga, and suck it up? Suge ain't snitch, nigga. Suge is in front. You want to name these names, nigga? Okay, cool, nigga. Yeah, now you get a chance to show the whole world you on their level, nigga. Suge didn't snitch. Tuki, he did his time. They killed him, nigga. Motherfucker, Larry Hoover, Free Hoover, he done 50 in that. We'll see how the story go with Big U.
but which he oftentimes used to fund his lifestyle instead. Despite his life of crime, Big U never wanted to return to jail. So he went to great lengths to avoid law enforcement detection, tamper with witnesses, and otherwise obstruct justice. Then it's got like some recent.
Yeah, but didn't want to go jail my ass, nigga. He could. That nigga had a better chance than a lot of motherfuckers. They were giving this nigga millions of dollars, nigga, just to clean up the community, nigga. What? I'm pissed. They'll give me shit. They give nigga $1 million. We doing this on the house. Stand up straight. This nigga just a crime lord, nigga. That nigga don't want to. Anybody know if you do the shit this nigga doing, your ass is going to jail or you work with the police. It's one other. Nigga, you can't be doing all the shit this nigga doing. You don't want to go to jail. Nah, that's bullshit, nigga. His ass want to go back to prison. He knew he was going, or he knew he was finna snitch. It's one of the others. No way in hell you think you can stay free. Show me somebody who can do that shit and they free. You can't show me nobody, nigga. That's impossible. And now they showing us, nigga, these people will show you. You ain't got to show me. They will show your ass that's impossible. Nigga, you working with them, nigga, or your ass going to do a bunch of motherfucking time. That's it. If you in that life, or you going to get killed, nigga.
Examples of defendants' acts or threats of violence, and the first thing they got listed is the murder of Rayshawn Williams. Right, I'm not gonna go over this paragraph right here because it was all in my original video and the original indictment. But basically, this kid was an artist of his. They had a little back and forth over whatever. I don't know what. I've heard different rumors, but they have a back and forth. Big U goes to Las Vegas. That's why he's not gonna respect him.
That's why he ain't gonna get no motherfucker respect. They not gonna look at this nigga like no motherfucker Blake Dunn Dada in federal prison where he going for what? Nigga, you kill a kid, nigga, and backdoor Nipsey Hussle. Nigga, you ain't no legend. You didn't knock off Wack 100 and 600 and your enemies, bitch ass nigga. Then they would have said, oh shit, nigga, Wack played with him. He hit one of the top Pyru. You didn't do none of that shit, nigga. You befriended Suge. Oh, you didn't die. You didn't knock Suge Knight off and seize the West for your own, nigga. No, nigga. Suge put you on his wing, nigga. Then you started muscling the rolling 60s extra, pressing your own kind, nigga. You a fucking phony, bro. They gonna see through all that shit in federal prison. But this, it's gonna be some real motherfuckers that's gonna look at you like, nigga, want to stick one in your motherfucking neck. How you done that little kid, bro? You didn't give that nigga a chance to live, my nigga. Like I say, nigga, y'all could have DP'd him, nigga. Y'all could have DP'd him. Why y'all didn't beat him up, put him in the hospital? Why did that youngster have to die, nigga? That type of shit, nobody can look at that nigga like no solid OG for that.
He kills this kid and leaves him in the desert.
No,
that is the main point of the whole indictment. The second thing they got is robbery and extortion. And it says throughout the period of interception and before defendant was captured on audio and video recordings extorting victim one, both through a co-defendant, Sylvester Robinson, and personally. In doing so, defendant and Robinson frequently threatened violence against victim one if he failed to pay their fees. Those threats were not empty when victim one started to ignore Big U's calls demanding extortion payment. Defendant sent multiple armed robbers to victim one's dispensary to rob him and then demanded $10,000 from the victim to prevent future robberies. And we did read about this in the main indictment as well, right? Victim one was going through it. It says in multiple intercepted calls, defendant and his co-conspirators discussed even more robberies they were committing. Robinson also frequently told victim one about Big U's violence, including that Big U was the only OG still actively committing murders. And that's all something that they call on wiretap. It says in addition to the constant
the times we living in. I thought when John Gotti got busted, this is real shit. I thought when John Gotti and the mob got popped for talking reckless, that all of the real gangsters knew you don't speak about murders or any type of real money transactions on the phone. This is serious business. I thought everybody knew that. I mean, we can watch all the mafia movies. That's how they got it. They couldn't even get the mob until they start wiretapping their ass and them niggas freely talking about murder and mayhem. Then they had them. These niggas on the phone, Big U, said he the only killer. He the only OG still killing people out here. And the feds just loving it.
The extortion of victim one, defendant extorted victim two for $30,000 for a party thrown in Big U's honor in December of 2021. This is the guy that owned the club that Big U was throwing a birthday party at. When the victims requested to only pay $20,000, Big U responded with force, threatening, "I'll tear this bitch up. It won't be a club here no more." And then sending Robinson, another co-defendant, Mark Martin, and members of the Rolling 60s to confront victim two at his business and extort.
Club. It won't be Black Club. And black athletes. I haven't heard about no white athletes having to check in yet. I know it's a bunch of white athletes play in LA too. I'll have to investigate to see if any of them have to pay to stay. That's serious business. Any of those LA Dodgers. I ain't hearing shit about the fucking LA Dodgers members paying Big U. I gotta show you, boy. That motherfucker ain't about shit, fam. That's real motherfucker talk. Boy, I always be on motherfucker people, man. It's so fucking disgusting. The LA Dodgers athletes they have to check in, but anybody black, you successful, now your ass got to pay. Cause it could get gangster around there. Man, nigga, yeah. See what happened to you when you think like that?
For $30,000 from. It says while the substantive extortion counts are currently limited to just some of those extortions of victim one and victim two, they are not Big U's only extortions. For example, on October 19, 2021, Big U told victim one that he was taking over the extortion of another business owner. Then on November 7, 2022, on an intercepted call after yet another extortion victim stated that Big U had not fully paid the extortion victim for work on Big U's vehicle, Big U directed this Martin guy to call the extortion victim right now and stated that he would go out there and kill that dude. On February 14, 2023, on another intercepted call, Robinson told Big U that he had told quote unquote Jew Boy that he owed the Big U Enterprise money and that they would allow a payment plan, but if he did not pay, they were going to shut this mother down. And then it's got bullet point 3, power to direct violence. It says, making him that much more dangerous. Big U holds power over others threatening and committing violence. For example, on November 23rd, 2022, on an intercepted call, Big U said that he can pay 3 people $50 each to beat someone up, and described paying people to quote unquote mess up a store that was refusing to provide Big U a discount. On April 17, 2023, on another intercepted call, Big U directed an individual.
Nigga got to pay $50 to go beat up people at Denny's if he don't get his senior discount. What the fuck? What, nigga? You a senior, nigga. Let him know you a senior, nigga. Trying to act young. This nigga, I'm a senior. I know I get that. I can't wait to tell all them motherfuckers I'm a senior. I want my discount, nigga. I'm old. Hell wrong with the deal. Paying people $50. This is disgusting ass shit too, nigga. Paying people $50, nigga, in stores, he don't get his discount.
To deliver a message to another marijuana dispensary owner that Big U said of him and that he had upped with the wrong guy. And it's got C, despite a prior 23-year sentence for armed robbery, Big U stayed armed. It said since at least July 20th, 1992, defendant has been prohibited from even possessing firearms based on his felony convictions for second-degree robbery with a firearm, conspiracy, and drug trafficking, for which he received a 23-year prison sentence. Upon his release from prison, he nevertheless continued to use firearms, like when he murdered Rayshawn Williams and directed others to use firearms, like when they robbed Victim One's dispensary. Throughout this investigation, recordings corroborated that Big U consistently was armed. On October 22nd, 2022, Robinson told Victim 1 that Big U and Robinson would be attending an after party at a club that Victim 1 was promoting, and that a pat down is out because Big U would be in attendance, implying that the defendant was armed. Pretty much saying when Big U shows up, he ain't getting patted down. On an intercepted call a month later, Big U told an incarcerated individual that anyone coming at him better come correct because Big U always had 2 blowers, which is firearms. On January 3rd, 2023, on an intercepted call, Big U described to an incarcerated individual that he was tooling up with firearms to travel to a Crips neighborhood because we are the most arrogant, bougie, self-righteous motherfuckers on planet Earth. On April 1st, 2023, on another intercepted call, Big U asked someone to grab Big U's blower, which he left on the ground in a blue sweatshirt in front of a tire. Then it's got D, defendant is not only a physical danger, but a financial danger too. It says Big U's crimes against victims are not confined to only violence. He spent decades creating a facade of a reformed gang member who seeks to build rather than destroy his community. So disguised, Big U used that persona primarily to take from the very community that he claims to help. Hundreds of thousands of dollars flowed from charitable donors and government programs to Big U's Developing Options bank account. Almost immediately, he siphoned off as much of the money into his own personal bank account as he could. Big U got richer and richer off of his fraud, like his extortions and robberies, owning multiple homes, driving a Mercedes, taking lavish trips, and shopping for luxuries like a $30,000 necklace. The money taken from donors and taxpayers' pockets will never find their intended benefactors, the at-risk youth and children of Crenshaw. That damage cannot be undone. But Big U's success in deceiving politicians, celebrities, and community activists, as well as the public at large, further militates against his release back into that community as he attempts to fund an expensive defense. So they're saying that because he defrauded people before he got locked up, and now he's got this big case he's going to have to fight if they let him out, he's probably going to do it again to try to pay for them expensive attorneys. And then it says defendant is fluent in obstruction. It says all of it may be founded on crimes, but Big U built a charmed life following his 23-year sentence for armed robbery. He does not want to give it up and uses obstruction frequently to avoid that. The destruction of surveillance footage, use of encrypted applications like FaceTime, demands to meet in person to avoid law enforcement, intercepted communication, use of multiple phones and cars, orders to not speak to law enforcement, and chastising of any perceived or suspected cooperators are detailed in the charging instruments. A few are also highlighted here. It says, even when the criminal charges were not against Big U personally, Big U instructed a victim's relative that the victim was to go to the lineup.
Revolutionary salute to our family at BLACK. Money sign for the donation to the war chest. Revolution is a way of life. Appreciate the love, family salute. He said you was trying to live like Nip. He absolutely was. And Nip is hunting his ass in his sleep.
tell him to pick the wrong person to insulate Big U's associate from the charges. A master manipulator, defendant told another associate to influence the media for his lawsuit against law enforcement. He should show both positive and negative parts of his life, wear glasses, and say that he was working with Big U's charity developing options, even though he was not. On multiple intercepted calls, Big U talked about beating up or at least breaking a witness's jaw. And while defendant may claim other reasons for feuding with that witness.
Okay, now that's very, very, very important. We're gonna get into that next too. This, when they say that he say he want to break a witness jaw, the feds done already said that Big U was saying he want to break Wack 100's jaw. Wack said he want to break Wack's jaw. Okay, they done took Wack name out of here and put a witness jaw. So Wack is the witness who Big U wants to break his jaw.
This court should protect him. I wonder if they're talking about Wack 100 here. If y'all remember, when I read the original indictment on this channel, Big U had threatened to break Wack 100's jaw like 20 separate times on intercepted phone calls. Right here, they're saying that he talked about beating up or at least breaking a witness's jaw. And while Big U may claim other reasons for feuding with that witness, this court should protect him. Remember, in the original indictment, they pretty much called Wack 100 Big U's blood counterpart. Interesting stuff. I wonder if this witness that they're talking about is Wack. But anyways, it says, after fleeing with his phones in the hours before his scheduled arrest in this case in an attempt to intimidate and dissuade anyone from cooperating with law enforcement or otherwise reporting information about Big U posted publicly on Instagram, naming his co-defendants and known opponents, instructing the public not to associate with them and claiming that if they did, they were not black. In an attempt to poison the jury pool, defendant posted on Instagram claiming racial profiling and blaming his co-defendants and opponents for the charges that were filed against him in this federal criminal complaint. And then it's got this section, the legal standard. It says a defendant must be detained pending trial where no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the appearance of the person as required and the safety of any other persons in the community. Detention is thus appropriate for Big U, who is either a danger to the community or a risk of non-appearance. And then they got some case law stated here, United States versus Matamidi, where it went over the Bail Reform Act, which mandates that an individual evaluation guided by the factors articulated in this law right here will determine if somebody will be released. And those are the nature and seriousness of the offense charged, including whether the offense is a crime of violence, the weight of the evidence against the defendant's character, physical and mental condition, family and community ties, past conducts, history relating to any drug or alcohol abuse, and their criminal history, and then the nature and seriousness of the danger to any person or the community that would be posed if somebody was to be released. And it says that Big U should remain detained because he is a risk of non-appearance and a danger to the community. It says the 43 federal charges against Big U, the damning evidence against him, his dangerous history and characteristics, and the risk to numerous specific individuals in the community at large if he were to be released, all support his detention. And then it goes over those factors and how they pertain to Big U, which we pretty much covered by reading the indictment and reading this document. We can see how he fits in all four of those categories. It's even got some case law in here for how other criminals similar to Big U were handled in this situation. In this case, United States versus Tutora, who was a member of the mafia. They know that he had also made threats to kill, that he was a danger, that he had a total commitment to a life of crime. That defendant ended up having his bail denied. They got this other one, United States versus Cazares. I guess this guy was involved in a RICO indictment where he was also charged with extortion, wire fraud, witness tampering, and other crimes similar to Big U's. And in his case, he was detained with no bail based on his activities as well as the activities of those he supervised and controlled. And then they got a few more cases. And again, they're doing all of that to try their best to show that these people are just like Big U and these people weren't released on bond. And they do that to establish how the Bail Reform Act mandates that Big U remain in detention on those 4 points that we touched on a minute ago. And then right here in this part, there is a very interesting interesting sentence. It says, moreover, as currently charged, defendant Big U faces a statutory maximum of well over 600 years, even discounting defendant's criminal history due to its age. As currently charged, Big U faces a likely guidelines range of life in prison based on a total offense level of 43 for one count alone. The severity of the potential penalties involved augments defendant's risk of non-appearance. And then we get to the conclusion. It says, if the court wants to know how the defendant will conduct himself on pretrial release, it need look no further than the recordings documenting Big U's conduct and threats throughout this investigation. With everything to lose, including the immense goodwill he fraudulently procured from the community and his city, Big U still told anyone who dared to ask that he was a killer. And he proved that he was a killer. Because Big U is both a danger to the community and a risk of non-appearance, should the case not go his way, this court should permanently detain Big U pending trial. And I'm not gonna lie, this brief in support of detention for Big U is probably going to be approved. They did a very good job putting all the case law together and painting the picture of this case. It's going to be very, very, very hard for Big U to counter any of these points, especially since a lot of this evidence that they have is wiretap conversations, even some video recordings of him committing these crimes and people that were up underneath him committing these crimes. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to prove that he's not a danger or that he wouldn't run, but that's the document. That's what we got. Like I said, Big U is scheduled this morning.
They got me feeling like I'm academics. Can't ride away.
Time, right? Chat. Y'all got an hour for Wack or no? Y'all gotta let me know. What we doing? Chat. Are you want me to hit Wack? So yes or no? Oh, but a lot of people say no. Okay. I'll give you the drama with the Wack thing. So like the dude Rockstar, I don't know if y'all know him, the guy who was with Black Sam, and Black Sam walked him across the street. He sent me paperwork tonight and he was just like, yo, Wack is mentioned as a witness. He's mentioned as a witness in the court documents, the new court documents from today. He's like, look on this page. And basically when I looked on the page, it was a detention memorandum, which means the government is giving reasons why Big U shouldn't be let out of jail. They mentioned that Big U has threatened people and supposedly threatened witnesses. And they claim one of the witnesses, Big U, threatened to break his jaw. You get what I'm saying? Now, in the original indictment, it's mentioned that Big U is on a phone call saying, yo, somebody got to break Wack's jaw. So I guess they were putting two and two together to act like the victim or not the witness that the police is talking about is Wack. Let me show y'all real quick. Because, I know it seems like I don't want me to call him, but whatever. Let's do this real quick. Where is it? By the way, let me just do it one more time.
Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God.
Okay. Here we go. By the way, chat, we are busting tonight, man. We got damn near almost 20,000 people up in here. Between TikTok, Rumble, our two YouTube channels, we got like 19,000 people in here, almost 20,000. Real lit. Okay. Is it that? Nope. Okay. So let me show you something real quick. So this is a big U addendum, I guess. Let me give y'all some shit real quick. So basically, it's called a brief in support of the detention of Eugene Henley, right? So he's trying to get out on bond, and basically the government is saying, why the fuck will we let him out on bond? Check this out. And this is all being submitted to the judge, right? So let's read a few things real quick. And I'm going to try to be quick with this. It says, this is a memorandum of points and authorities. For decades, Big U has been putting on a public facade. He's been masqueraded as a reform gang member and a legitimate businessman, while his only ambition was only to better his community. But he wasn't helping Crenshaw. He was helping himself. In the shadows, he was secretly operating as a kingpin of a criminal enterprise that ruled Los Angeles through violence, fear, and intimidation. Now he seeks pretrial release under the guise of a reformed persona, even though his criminal activities, Wack is called it. Yeah, I got to answer. Here we go. Wack, we on.
What up, bro?
Okay.
Wack was watching this man's show, seeing Ack had all them people in his chat and was finna run this here content with Wack being witness number 2. Now we're gonna hear Wack is trying to deflect. No, bro. The feds already said, and Wack already said, Big U never threatened to kill him. He threatened to break his jaw. So Big U threatened to break your jaw. That's what the feds called on the paperwork. Y test, Big U threatened to break your jaw. Cool. Well, now the feds are saying Big U threatened to break the jaw of witness number 2. Wack know he's witness number 2, and ain't no getting out of that.
You called at the perfect time. We actually just opened up this thing.
What you open up?
Okay, so let me break everything down, and I want to be honest and open with the people too. So today I got a message. It was from Rockstar.
Bro, listen.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on, bro. You got a nigga over there hurt. He don't want to squabble nobody. Don't want to squabble me. Who got marked out by Black Sam at the fucking
I don't want to squabble. Man, Wack, you got 100 phase lined up, bro. When you gonna get any of them, bro? Any of them? Talking about somebody else don't want to fight.
Who can't read? You know what they say, bro. You want to hide something from a Negro, put it in the book.
That is a fact.
Now you know on the 100 side, in my exposure team, ain't nobody on the face of this earth been running this paperwork, scraping to it on the daily more than us.
Yeah, you guys know this paperwork way more than anybody else.
Inside out. So you gotta, when you reading certain shit, and you first gotta know what you're dealing with. Always remember, paperwork is going to always identify witnesses, victims, donors, opponents, enemies. They're going to identify you. Yeah. And then they're going to name you as such throughout the paperwork, right? Now, there's one thing you got to pay attention in the complaint, in the indictment, and in the bail hearing today. Those are the 3 documents out on Big U. You have to pay attention to those 3 things. Is one thing that I share in common in all 3 of those documents. You know what they are, Ack?
What is it? Tell me.
I am named and described as Wack 100 or an opponent.
Yeah, I seen you as named as like a rival.
A rival, opponent, Wack 100. That's it. So when people, if you're like, it's like you opening up a book, right? And you got 12 chapters. The motherfucker that opened it up and started reading from chapter 6 to 12, and the nigga that reads it from chapter 9 to 12 is not going to know as much as the motherfucker that read it from chapter 1 to 12. Right? So when you're reading it, in the complaint and in the motherfucking indictment, they specify who the victims are, who the witnesses are. Victim 1 is Dale. Victim 2 is DC, the promoter out of Dallas that we just exposed on No Jumper this Sunday. Witness 1 is the security guard. As he spelled out, he's the guy that pulled the gun on Big U and Robinson when they pulled up. Witness 2 is the record producer, which is Marley Marl, who owns the studio and the location. Witness 3 is the video installer that they use to come, take the camera shit out and replace it. Mm-hmm. Opponent 1 and 2 is 600 and Wack 100, and co-defendant is Loose Cannon. Now, when you understand that and you read the paperwork, right, then you'll understand what you read. What this bozo did is today it said something about
wait, hold on. Right before you get to that, and I just, because again, I said this earlier. I said, yo, listen, I don't want nobody to think that I'm ever like, I value friendships, and I do know, like, I respect Wack, and I fuck with him, and we've had this conversation, and I've heard you had this conversation on Even No Jumper. When I got this today, I sent it directly to you. I said, by the way, this is coming my way. Just like I know you would do the same with me.
That's real shit.
Right? And I'm reading through it, whatever. And then, obviously.
Hold on, revolutionary salute to our family, Street Nasty Entertainment, for the donation to the war chest. Revolution is a way of life. Absolutely appreciate the love, family. Salute to you. It went through, family. Appreciate that love. Salute. Appreciate the light.
I wanted to have the conversation with you even before stream, just to be like, all right.
I sent you everything I'm talking about. You got on your text. What I'm talking about, documentation be conversation. If you go to your text, you'll see the description of Witness 1, the description of Witness 2. Witness 2, when they told D say we need to drive back to Vegas to Witness 2's home.
Right, for the shit, because at one time the feds had called Wack a victim, and he was pissed off. They said he was a victim. He was a victim of Big U. He was pissed off. So in some documents it got him as a victim, in some documents it got him as witness number 2, who gonna get his jaw broken. But that's the specific detail. They say the victim was gonna get his jaw broken. That's you. And another time they said the witness, Big U want to break the witness jaw. That's also you. And then they, call him opponent. That's just to throw him a little bone, and some papers make him seem like that he bigger, him and 600 than they really is. Damn, they victims and witnesses. That's what they really are.
Witness 2 is the producer, right? Witness 2 is also one of the dudes they said to leave the house so they can go do their thing, right? So if you read the complaint, you also see where it says he wanted to break Witness 2's jaw for starting a beef or whatever argument between Big U and Wack 100. That's Marley Marl. He called me and told me some shit, and you know me, I called Big U and put it on the table, right? What's happening with this, right? So what they're crossing is where it says Big U on the phone call, what is whatever, says he wants to break Wack 100's jaw. See, Wack 100 is always named out as a opponent, rival, or Wack 100.
Victim 2 and
Witness 2 is always named out as Witness 2. You can't have 2 Witness 2s. Okay. Then it fucks up there. You know what I'm saying?
Just to give clarity, because again, I think me and you might know, but the audience might not know. So some guy hit me up today, and they're like, "Oh yeah, because in the original indictment, there's a part where there was Big U on a call talking about breaking Wack's jaw, right? So some guy hits me today and he says, yo, check this out. There's new paperwork where they're calling someone getting their jaw possibly broken a witness, and that has to be Wack, right? Now, it's on page 13 of this document, and I'll read it, and then I'll have Wack explain it. It says, on multiple intercepted call, defendant talked about beating up or at least breaking witnesses' jaw, and while defendant may claim other reason for feuding with that witness, the court should protect him. Now, the people who sent it to me, they were like, yo, that's Wack. He's a witness, and the court is trying to protect the witness, which would be you. Please explain this.
I'm not. Witness 2 is spelled out. You got all the paperwork. Witness 2 is spelled out.
Nah, you witness 2.
In the paperwork as the
producer, one of the witnesses,
the owner of the studio, right? It says right here, Henley again described needing to beat the shit out of Wack 100. Anytime they're talking about me, they tell you he's talking about me. You know what I'm saying? You got on. I'm never described as a witness, a victim,
yes, you have
a donor, or none of that shit. You got donors, you got 2 victims, and you got 3 witnesses, and it's like 7 donors. The donors are the ball players, the rappers, people that they got online, you know, sending money or whatever to the organization. So,
wait. So just for clarity, so who is this witness?
Witness 1 is the security. If you read the complaint, when Robinson and Henley pulled up to the gate, remember, witness 2 is the owner of the property, the studio. That's Molly Mall. That's the record where they say that.
This whole ass nigga is sitting on his bed all night, bro, in his damn drawers with his ass in the air, reading this damn paperwork, bro, with his fucking hands, with his hands in the palm, his head in his palm, like a little buster, reading this shit. This nigga no front to back. This is crazy. This is crazy, bro. This is no. Don't worry, boy. Your time coming.
The platinum or Grammy nominated producer, that's Molly Mall, right? Okay. So witness 1 is a security guard that works there. Witness 2 is Molly Mall. Witness 3 is the camera guy that comes and installs the camera equipment.
Okay, so the person's jaw that they were talking about, that's not you, but it's actually Molly Mall, right?
It's Molly Mall, because if you read it, when he's talking to D say earlier, right? He says all to break Molly Mall's jaw, who was witness 2, for telling Wack 100 what he told him and starting shit between us. But what you have to pay attention to is, bro, you and me cannot be witness 2 at the same time. It fucks up the goddamn prosecution.
No, of course.
Okay, they're going to name a person as witness 1, person as witness 2, person as witness 3, so on and so forth. So
okay.
You all yeah, you got all the documents.
No, hold on. Wack. I mean, I'm you know, because I could tell, one of the reasons I sent it to you, I could tell they were going to run this into the ground in a way. So anyway, I got the original indictment up, right? There's someone listed as victim 1, which, by the way, you weren't listed as victim 1 in the indictment. It says, on December. Yeah. So it says, so the Overt Act 105, by the way, this is the original indictment. It says, on February 7, 2023, on an intercepted call, defendant Henley told Robinson he was going to break victim 1's jaw. And on an intercepted call, part of the extortion scheme, defendant Robinson told defendant Henley that Robinson told, okay. So it's victim 1.
Victim 1 is Dale. That's Dale.
Okay.
That's you, nigga. You victim 1. See, you the victim 1, nigga. You victim 1. You witness number 2. You are the one the feds identified as the one Big U. Now all of a sudden, Big U talking about everybody gonna get their job, bro. That Big U. Now you telling us Big U say everybody getting their jaw broke. Nah, nigga, you. Because I told y'all this the original paperwork. In some paperwork they call him Wack. And Act know this. Academics is toying with this boy. Wack don't even understand what academics is doing. In the original paperwork, they call Wack victim because Big U's gonna break his jaw. And I remember Wack going crazy. I ain't no fucking victim. I ain't no victim. Yeah, nigga, you victim 1 in this paperwork, nigga.
That's the dude. That's Monster. You know, that's the dude that was doing the dude been on the internet, dude that was paying extortion shit. The dude with the weed shop.
Oh, okay. And by the way, just for clarity here, chat. So for the people who thought they had something because Wack was mentioned that Big U supposedly threatened that someone should break Wack's jaw. Jaw is mentioned 4 times in the original indictment.
4 times.
Okay. So on the first time it's mentioned that Robinson told victim 1 he was going to break his jaw. Then it's mentioned the second time where it says it was on an intercepted call where Henley says when defendant Henley, which is Wack one. No, not Wack. The defendant Big U. When Big U catches Wack, he's gonna break his jaw. Then the third time it's mentioned on January 2nd, 2023, on an intercepted call. Henley told Big U Enterprise Associates DS that defendant Henley needed to at least break producer's jaw. By the way, I believe that producer is
witness too.
Molly Ma. And then on the fourth time it's mentioned, it says on February 13th, 2023, on an intercepted call, defendant Henley told a co-conspirator that Big U was going to break the jaw of a business manager for a former. So again, if you know, I think what Wack is saying here, and I'm understanding, is that it appears that people want to attribute you to some shit, but these are things listed in the indictment that apply to a lot of people.
Yeah, but if you go read what you sent me today, it clearly states witness too.
Yeah, okay.
So that paperwork today, I'm named out as opponent. Me and 600 are opponent.
Yeah,
and Loose Cannon is the
cleaned it up for y'all. They cleaned it up. Nah, we don't want this new paperwork. They try to clean it up for y'all because it's getting hot. We got the original paperwork. You victim who jaw gonna get burger, and you witness number 2, nigga. Nah, we don't want nothing. You ain't no opponent, nobody, nigga.
Yeah, I didn't read the full thing. Wow, okay.
Yes, yeah, I'm always named out as Wack 100 opponent, or like what's the other word they use on me? Opponent. You said it. Opponent. See the Wack 100 opponent.
Yeah. So the way they mentioned it, they said after fleeing with his phones in the hours before his scheduled arrest in this case, in an attempt to intimidate and dissuade anyone from cooperating with law enforcement or otherwise, and reporting information about the defendant, Big U posted publicly on Instagram naming his co-defendants and known opponents, instructing the public not to associate with them.
Right there. What 3 names did he say?
He said you. He said 600. He also said Loose Cannon.
And Loose Cannon is the one named under the RICO co-defendant. Wack and 600 are known in the paperwork as opponents.
Witnesses and victims.
Okay.
You'll never find us as a victim or a witness. You won't find. Actually, matter of fact, today, I hope the minute order comes out. They hit him with some more shit and said, because 600 went to court with the whole family. It was a whole fiasco. It was crazy. Yeah. Like, it was nuts.
Today?
Right? Yeah, today, that nigga, the wife tripped out. Everybody tripped out. He stayed the whole time, 2-3 hours. Right? They said in the courtroom that upon your turn in, you are a threat because you told the world that these individuals are cooperating and working and was with us doing the raid of your home, and we go on the record to say we've never talked to, communicate. So this answers your question. With 600, with Wack 100, they named us too.
But see, what Wack trying to say is the government cleared him and 600 from working with them. Please, they didn't clear y'all. What the government used was, if Wack and 600 was their witnesses and shit like that, Big U would have just have openly put a hit on them. They didn't clear him. He was just showing the court how dangerous of a man he was, because in his delusional ass mind, he really want to bring down Wack and 600 of them internet niggas because he's not thinking clearly. He don't know all what was happening to him at the time, and the government used that against him, saying he not a brother, putting a openly threatening what he thinks are witnesses.
But then they said 2 days after you turned yourself in, one of your employees, a Rolling 60 gang member with a grid hat, they put the picture up, put free Big U and kill 600 from what you, so they used it against him. They like, you deliberately made up a lie. And because your lie, you're so powerful, people believed your lie and put a target on these people back. They used it against him today.
Okay. And Wack, so this is like an honest question I really have.
I don't believe this.
Right?
What up?
Again, for the record, I don't think, whatever people are saying, I don't believe none of that, right?
Yes, you do.
I mean, you got the paperwork. I don't give a fuck for the niggas.
No, but hear what I'm saying. Wack, just being honest, right? And I was talking about this today, and I said, yo, listen, I said, I value Wack as a friend. And for example, I'm going to give a real example. If every day you was on Clubhouse and you were like, yo, you know what? We're going to go talk about, let's say it could even be my civil case, right? I might be like, yo, Wack, hey, until this shit goes to trial, could you at least chill out? I'd be wondering.
Oh no, we ain't doing nothing. We ain't doing none of that. We ain't doing none of that. We gonna run this paperwork up the motherfucking wall. If it's paperwork, we running this shit. Yo, Act, I can tell you some shit right now that'll blow the case wide open. Don't think I don't know. I know everything.
No, Wack. I'm not speaking for that.
Yeah, I can listen, my nigga. Some shit I don't say because it ain't in the paperwork. You get what I'm saying?
Wack, but if it's I'm not speaking for that. Hold on, I'm not speaking for that. I'm speaking. Hold on. I'm speaking as your brother, because I think when we even had that, kind of heated exchange, which everybody think we were beefing, like I wasn't really like, there's because I like even today.
Act just exposed Wack as running police content last episode. I might find that.
Hold on. Wait, Wack.
When it comes to paperwork.
Wait, let me get it off, and then you can say whatever. I think people think that I was insinuating that you were cooperating.
You definitely insinuated that.
Wack, I was insinuating the opposite.
And you see what Wack said? You definitely insinuated that. Act already, Act, I don't know what Act doing or who's telling Act to do this, but he's definitely, and you can go back to when in his face on No Jumper when his first went down. He's been toying mentally, because see, this is what's called passive aggressive. He know he can't fight Wack, but mentally he know he can manipulate. He can manipulate Wack and outmaneuver Wack, and he's doing it right now to Wack. And Wack like, you did say I was informant, so I don't know what Act is getting at, but we're gonna see.
No, you was definitely insinuating that they came and talked to me. Hey, bro, let me explain something to you. My record, my history shows.
It's a fact the federal government came talk to him. It's a fact the federal government. Why would they go talk to No Jumper and people by Big U? But somebody who Big U want to break. He said he want to bring violence to you, bro. He's the leader of a criminal enterprise, murder, mayhem. You are his target. Why wouldn't the feds come talk to you? It's crazy. They're not doing. Imagine it. He could sue the federal government if anything happened to him and they had that on the wiretap. Come on. You know Wack could sue, but he don't have a lawsuit because they did go talk to him. This man know goddamn well the federal government came and talked to him. His life was in danger. Shit, trying to play tough. You talk to the motherfucking government, clown. Oh, but guess what? And this way he fucked up. So you say the federal government called you about Jay Prince when they heard Jay Prince talking to somebody or somebody mentioned your name and they just want to make sure you was okay. Remember, he came up with that lie. Oh, the federal government called me about Jay Prince. And he put the call up, saying he would call the lady, which everybody saying is bullshit, but then let's go with his narrative. When Jay allegedly mentioned his name, which I don't believe that shit, on a phone call, the feds called him to make sure. Well, they have Big U on a call mentioning your name saying he wants your job broke to his goons. But they wouldn't call you. He a liar, and he definitely talked to the feds.
It's this simple. I'm gonna expose it.
Why?
I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna expose it. Because when they come talk to you, right, it's eventually gonna come out when they talk to you.
Wack. Here's the thing, and this what I was saying, that I think we were on the wrong page, or not the right. Like,
handler. See, the thing is, he caught that case in Texas. And he been working. He got a handler. See, they just went through his regular. And I didn't know until all this. I never knew that Reggie White Jr., the cop, introduced him to Suge Knight. That's a very important piece to all this. When Suge out of jail, it's Reggie, the police, brought this little bastard to Suge. Now imagine that. And then Suge introduced this bastard to Big U, not knowing this nigga was Donnie Brasco. He had already had that Texas case. This nigga was hot. He was finna bring down every motherfucker body in the hip-hop community and go after all the gangsters, going after Jay Prince. Just pay attention. That's exactly what the fuck going on.
It was what I really thought was happening. I think, I'm going to be honest, again, I'm a civilian. I think if they did come to talk to you, that would have been a better thing. Just let me finish your thought. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Wack, if they didn't come to talk to you, the way they talk about you in this paperwork, they gotta be investigating you. Like, just be honest.
No, see, but this is what's weird though, right?
No, Wack.
All right,
Just answer that point.
Nah, let me tell you why.
I knew you wasn't going soft on this nigga. Act mentally played him again. No. I'm not saying you're cooperating. I'm saying you didn't this nigga acting concerned. Wack, just think about this. Understand this. If they didn't come talk to you, as much as they mentioned you in this paperwork, this federal paperwork, if they didn't come talk to you, they must be investigating you. Are they investigating you? If you say no, then they talk to you. If you say no, they're not investigating, they talk to you. You say, all right, they talk to me, nigga. We know they talk to you, nigga.
Weird. So if I'm on the phone every day with Loose Catty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saying, yeah, fuck that act, bitch ass nigga. Nigga think this, that. I'm gonna break his jaw when I see him.
Okay.
I want to whoop Axe ass.
Mm-hmm.
Axe a bitch. Okay. What are they investigating, bro? Me hating? Bro, Big, you been hating.
If John Gotti's on the phone and John Gotti is saying that he want a rival, I want his fucking jaw broke. I want his head cracked. I want his arm fucking broke. This is the mob boss. They're looking at Big U as a mob boss. And he's on the phone. He's steady telling the goons, this is what he want to do to Wack. He want him fucked up. Come on, man. Come on, Wack. You know what's going on. You know the cops got to come talk to you about that, nigga, because they're investigating a criminal enterprise, a lot of gangster extortion and shit going on. And the boss is bringing you up as somebody he want to bring harm to. They got to talk to you about that, nigga. Your life is in danger.
You know me for years, bro. This is what it come down to with Wack and Big U. The nigga hated the fact that I was who I was and my business hand was what it was. What are you going to invest? Let me tell you what they do know. They do know we don't fuck around, and whatever he's doing has nothing to do with me. So why are you going to investigate me for what?
Well, they do know that you was on the internet bragging about when the Crips was going to war, you went took Big U guns in the rolling 60s to deal with his enemies. You the one gave him the guns. They had to come to you for that. That wasn't in a wiretap. That was you bragging. You, a known felon, a known felon was talking about you gave guns to rolling 60 kingpin who they indicted and had under investigation. You saying you dropped weapons off to him. Why is that not in the motherfucking paperwork? Huh? What? Huh? How did that not make the paperwork? That you bragged about giving them guns to deal with their motherfucking enemies, nigga. We not never gonna forget about that. You bragged about that, nigga. That's illegal.
For what?
I said today to someone who I was talking about this. I said, yo, listen, I don't want nobody to get this confused.
I live a very simple life.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you don't.
Hold on, listen to me. I'm the total opposite. One, I don't fuck with the streets.
That's a lie, nigga. You said you shook Future down on behalf of Big U and Trick from Detroit. You shook him down. He was with Sierra. Y'all chased him through the airport. Now, remember, a lot of y'all be like, well, what the fuck? See, until Big U and these niggas was indicted, people would be like, oh, man, people don't give a fuck about a conversation like that. Are you crazy? They say they take all of those stories serious and they put them in your indictment if you brag about chasing rappers through the airport because you're extorting them. He said he was extorting them on behalf of Trick. Not Big U. Big U came out and said, that's not true. Wack 100 came out and said, that is true. And that nigga Future had to put Birdman on the phone. And Birdman said, I'm going to pay that debt, Wack. And Wack's like, hell no, we own him. He got to pay. And Birdman say, no, I got him. I'm paying. Wack said that motherfucker shit. But now he's saying, I'm just a simple man who live a simple life. Oh, nigga. That's what Big U was saying when he was in the fucking can, nigga. The feds is saying otherwise. And guess what? Remember, Big U talked his ass until they canned all these stories, man. Wack telling all the same stories. Wack said, now, Remember when Wack said he was the opponent? I'm glad Wack. Remember Wack said he was the opponent of Big U? Yeah, the Fed said you the opposite. He the Crip shake dude who shake it down on behalf of the Crips. And Suge at first was doing that on behalf of the Pirus. Suge gave Big U that motherfucking game. But Suge is locked up. So guess what? Guess who is the big boogeyman on behalf of the Bloods? That if the Feds is not indicting him, then he's cooperating. Wack 100.
I don't fuck with the streets. I fuck with my team. It's a difference. 2, I don't glorify my neighborhood. I don't talk to 99.9% of them
That's
niggas.
a fucking lie. All we hear is that's on Pyru. That's on Triple P's Vekoma Park Pyru. Now you see, I don't glorify my hood. Oh, you a Muslim now? No more dope game? That nigga at church? Who the hell is this? Not Mr. Pyru. He don't glorify my neighborhood. How the fuck I know about the Triple P's? Nigga, you. Give yourself a pat on the back, nigga. But you go federal for that.
It might be 5 people from my neighborhood that I talk to. All of them are homeowners. All of them got jobs. All of them raising their families.
Right.
3, I don't hang out in my fucking neighborhood. You know where Big U's at every day? Crenshaw and Slauson.
Okay, I get you.
Every motherfucking day he's in his motherfucking neighborhood. His claim to fame is his neighborhood. When you read his paperwork, everybody right there is from where? His neighborhood. 3 acting.
Hey, that nigga is jealous of Big U because Big U was where, like I say, Blackface Ku Klux Klan member. Where guess what? He Wack couldn't beat where Big U was at standing around like that. They knock his fucking head off. That's just the truth. Wack wish he can do that shit. He can't. And when you gotta move on. Move on. Yeah, Wack, goddamn, move on. You're a millionaire, brother. But he know it's niggas like Wack still wish they could be amongst those motherfuckers. But he's not. He's never been one of those. He's always been a do-boy for those real good gangsters like that. Up under them, worshiping them niggas, worshiping Suge, worshiping Big U, then turn on like a vicious dog, wishing he had those type of motherfucking reputations. But look what come with those reputations. You see, he want that fame, but he don't want that time and all that pain and suffering that come with it.
I can text him right now, so I need to hold $500,000. He gonna send it in the morning.
Right? No.
I got different kind of friends, brother. I do different kind of business. You get what I'm saying? No, I'm not
Why? I don't think you're doing nothing wrong. I don't.
Okay, so you investigating what? I'm at home with my woman every day. What you investigating, bro?
No. What I'm saying to you, I'm having a conversation.
He started Oscar De La Hoya, man. He started Kanye West. This nigga is starting the game, man. Free the game, my nigga, from up under this nigga, bro. For real, my nigga. I don't even like the game like that. But damn, this nigga Wack. Why did Wack get to be the game manager? That's a shady deal within itself. Ray J. Look what happened to Ray J. He used to be a nice, sweet, wholesome young man. Didn't he met Wack 100? Didn't even call him a porn star. Look at Blueface. Blueface is in prison, bro. Ruined his life. He not getting extorted. Washing his drawers. Human laundromat, Jack. Don't believe these niggas. This is what I'm telling you. Niggas a chef in there cooking them niggas meals in there. Blueface is rapping. Every day is a fucking concert with Blueface. He can't get no sleep. They making him rap all goddamn day. Everybody now working on a new mixtape featuring Blueface. If they forcing features out this nigga, he got a ghostwriter for everybody in prison. Wack ruining nigga life.
Today.
And they could be.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
It best believe my investigation will have nothing to do with him.
Okay, great, cool. But here's the thing. I said to the person I was talking to today, I said, I'm cool with Wack. I said, there's 2 things that's confusing to me. Like, for example, if every day you was on Clubhouse, and by the way, this is not a criminal case, but if every day you on Clubhouse going over the civil case every day before we haven't got to court yet, we haven't even got discovery, honestly, right? If every day you were doing that, I would probably be like, yo, Wack, could you at least chill out until it gets to that point?
Out of your fucking mind.
No. Wait. Let me finish your thought.
You sound like one of these other bloggers that's telling you why you running Shannon Sharp. Because everybody else running it.
No, Wack. But if you're even 10 steps close to it. I said to the person, I said, the day Wack says, yo, Act, could you stop putting this up on your stream? I'm done covering Big U because I fuck with Wack. I said to the person, I said, I'm a little confused why Wack even leans into this, because here's the thing. I was never saying that you would talk to the cops, or like, that's people saying that bullshit. What I was saying is that if they didn't come to talk to you, they're looking at you. Not saying you did nothing wrong. Not saying that you did nothing wrong. I don't think you did nothing wrong.
How old are you, Act? How old are you? You don't mind me. How old are you?
I'm in my 30s.
No, are you older than 34, 35?
Yeah, I'm 33.
You're 33. Okay, Act. So I want you to grasp this. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
They've been watching me longer than you've been living, nigga. You think that means something to me? They've been watching me longer than you've been living, Act. Act, when I was in the streets, I kept a warrant, kept on the run, nigga. I was getting arrested for bodies and attempted murder. All this shit as a pup.
Lies. Nigga, you lies. This shit all been exposed. Old BB gun ass. No BB gun ass nigga. Get off the fucking bullshit, nigga. God damn, bro. You lift some weights like every other nigga from California back in the day got buffed. I think our bodies, nigga. You ain't gonna give no motherfucking bodies, nigga. Stop it. We don't know you for none of that type of shit. We know you. We're talking about you got people sex tape like Nipsey. All this type of shit didn't work. Talking about it worked. Holy you Act. Holy you young nigga. I've been doing this since you had Similac on your breath. That's not a bull, nigga. See, that's called deflecting. He deflected. Nigga, I've been doing this since you was nigga to a Junebug, young nigga.
They've been watching me longer than you've been living. Do you understand my comfort zone? Everybody's watching me. Everybody want to kill me. Don't nobody like me. That's always been my motherfucking mentality,
bro. 50 Cent, men want me dead. Nigga, bullshit. Bullshit, nigga. Yo ass, nigga, please. We don't fucking, nigga, this nigga is a legendary internet nigga. I ain't gonna lie, can't take that away from him. Legendary on the internet. Nigga, you from the West Coast. Nigga, won't know you from no fucking West Coast shit, nigga. That's shame on you, nigga. I might let everybody want me dead. That's no fucking like, Big U didn't want to kill you, nigga. You want to break your jaw. You wasn't even worth no Big U bullets. That's serious business, nigga. He already knew you wasn't, nigga. They just want to slap the fuck out you several times when they caught you, nigga. Everybody want me dead. Well, that ain't what the federal paperwork say, nigga. They want to kick you in your ass. Nigga, Jay Diggs ain't talking about killing you. Nobody got time to be killing you, nigga. No, they just about punching the shit out you repeatedly when they see you, nigga.
Why?
So you think I give a fuck about a nigga? I'm gonna lay it out though, bro. You think I give a fuck about a nigga who I done looked out for, help elevate, help save your home, your kids? I swear to God on my daughter's soul, bro.
I didn't want to say that no more. I took guns too when he had to go to war with the other Crip sets. I'm the one that called for the illegal guns. It was me. Big U done had an illegal firearms. Big U done had an illegal federal get you 100 years in jail firearms. That was me. Wack 100. I'm the one. Hey, imagine this. Imagine when this nigga be bragging about Big U as nobody or nothing in the fucking streets. He was the real deal. Hey, Big U was on my couch with his head down. I'm the one that came to. I had everything. Now, imagine the feds indicting Big U and all they saying about Big U. Now this nigga, oh, really? So you telling me Big U is nobody? Is you the one? Okay, cool. Now they want to tell, oh, nigga, I'm just a humble man. Bitch, you is a bipolar motherfucker, but who cares? Because you admit a lot of shit when you raging.
Help this man generate income, get big contracts, save his homes, you name it. Donate it to his little football organization, you name it. Act.
That's called getting started, bitch ass nigga. What the fuck you mean, nigga? Nigga, so did every other flunky who got shook down by Big U. They donated. If that's what you call nigga paying to play, nigga. You pay Big U for protection, bitch ass nigga. Yeah, you sat on Gillian Wallow and said Big U was bigger than Tookie Williams. I knew you was a whole ass nigga when you said this. Nah, nigga, You trying to what? What the fuck you sitting next to this nigga thought he was bigger than Tukey? Nah, that's whoever you be. But I'm like, wow, nigga. Yeah, that's when you was paying that, man. Yeah, you needed Big U at the time. You were saying he was the biggest crip ever.
Money you think he ever put on my table, bro? Take a guess.
Why?
Take a guess.
All right, nothing. Maybe nothing, or maybe
nothing. And do you know what? I never had a problem with it. So how in the fuck? It ain't my fault that your neighborhood seemed not to like you. That niggas that I thought was your friends, when I ran into them, why could I holler at you? What's up, bro? Hey, bro, you just such and such? Yeah, you just helped him do that? Yeah, I helped him put that together, bro. It was a good deal for him. Yeah, bro, you know, every time you do something for him, he get madder and madder at you. What you mean? The minute you helped him do that, he said, yeah, this bitch-ass nigga ain't supposed to be the one in this type of position. This should be me. This type of shit, bro. Yo, Act, listen, bro. Fuck, dude. If the paperwork and the information is available and my people, are you telling me, Act, when my people take their time to go do their due diligence and dig and find shit that's there for the public, don't blame the hunter side of the trenches, bro, because we know how to get shit you don't know how to get.
No,
I can screenshot you something right now. A nigga asked.
What's up with all these mythological ass deals this nigga talking about? This whole pimp. I own a pamper company. What's up with all these mythological deals he making in the background? All my business partners is from United Arab Emirates. Nigga, y'all money line. Hey, what fucking deals you talking about? Nigga, you and Game put an album out, that shit flop, nigga. Ray J great hits down the drain too. What the fuck, bro? When did Wack become an excellent businessman? That's why I like. Is hip hop gonna allow this nigga to be online talking about all these business deals he arranged? Nigga, the federal government say they have no business deals you and Big U made that made him any money. That shit would be documented, bro. What the fuck you talking about? Oh, I took him on tour with the game. Nigga, you niggas is wanting protection from Big U, bro. You didn't do shit. You didn't do shit for Big U. Nigga, stop lying to everybody. You was wanting protection from that nigga, and he sniffed it out. He finally realized, like, what the fuck? I got a bunch of yes men around me telling me I'm the biggest, greatest, baddest crip ever to live in the fuck. Where I need another flunky like you. He was sick of your shit, nigga. You need to talk. Yeah, this shit is crazy, bro.
Asked me to go get on the individual, right? And I'm gonna go get it because I'm cool with the individual, right? Now, this.
Hold on, salute to our family here. BLACK money sign. He say Game ain't nothing but a stripper. Yeah, and Wack got that on tape too. Salute, appreciate the love, family.
Dude is a very well-known dude. You ask yourself, why you don't know how to go get this information? He just don't know how to go get it. He's somebody me and you both know very well. Wack, do you think the exposers could go get this? Yeah, that's easy because that's public record. We know this nigga did time. We'll look it up. Right? So now we got a situation that me, 600, Loose Cannon, we all close to. You think my team ain't bird dog in this shit?
Wack.
We had this paperwork yesterday.
Wack. Here's the only point I'm trying to make. Right?
Big U don't get no grace from us, bro.
Wack. No. Forget Big U. I don't know Big U.
Yeah, well, that's what it's seeming like. You saying,
no.
Why are you running it, nigga?
No. It's not Big U. Wack, this is honestly from me to you.
Why they running Lil Durk?
Wack, I think the feds honestly are looking at all of this, and the way you're listed, they might be, again, not saying you do nothing wrong. What I'm saying is that it's too close to home. That's why I'm like.
He say, Wack, you doing it to yourself, bro. You're not listening to Act. He said, this ain't about Big U, nigga. This is about you, nigga. You. And if you're telling us the feds haven't talked to you, Act telling you what they talk to him about you, and your ass is
not. It don't make sense. How am I listed? I'm listed as what?
Wack.
Somebody he doesn't like.
Wack. If my name was in a federal indictment, even if they said
it all depends on how your name is in the indictment. If it says every time Wack 100 goes to Jersey to do this business, he stops by academics and he's always in there momentarily. Right?
Wack.
If
they say you're a rival, you don't. If they're saying
I've been a rival, nigga, from Paru.
Wack.
The fuck is you talking
if
about?
they're saying you're a rival of a criminal, you don't think they think you're a criminal? I'm not saying you are. But
bro, do you not understand? See, this was Squareville come. Big U from Rolling 60s, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm from Paru. We rivals by nature, by the books. You do understand that, right? Let's just, if they got 50 names in sets, and they say these dudes is Crips and these dudes is Bloods, they're gonna put me on the Blood side, him on the Crip side, and they don't give a fuck if that's my cousin or brother. We're gonna go down as rivals. Do you understand that?
I understand that, Wack.
Okay, now let's go to phase 2. You got a dude. You notice how you haven't seen anything where it says Wack 100 on wiretap. Says he wants to do this to this dude or this to that dude.
We never said that. But the only thing I'm trying to say is that Wack. Listen.
Look, but stop. But this is what I don't like. And I hate to say it, but I got to start looking at Big U as a rat now. You know why?
What do you mean?
See, the fact that you say, that you would say that weird shit to me and say, what do you mean to that? That's what I mean by the selective politicking. I have to start looking at Big U as a rat, and I'm going to tell you why. Wow. I strongly believe and know he knew his phone was tapped. I strongly believe and know the fans that came to him on 2 to 3 separate occasions about investigating him. Can you agree? It's in the paperwork. Monty, the Trap Kitchen Taco lady, right? They came to her about sex trafficking. She went to him. He knew about that. It's in the paperwork. They got their phone call. She told him the feds contacted me about that. Number 2, the feds contacted this motherfucking wife, came to the house.
No, that's one thing I brought that up earlier. Wack right about that. That I don't understand for the life of me why. And Big U knew his phone was hot. Why the fuck was he still talking about criminalistic shit, calling people, talking about all kind of crimes, and he'll do this, he'll do that. Nigga, you know your phone tap, nigga. What's wrong? What the fuck? That's why I say unless he know he gonna tell on everybody, and that was his. It was just gathering all kind of shit. Unless he know what he finna do. You know your phone hot, bro. Why you didn't get rid of that phone and stop talking to anybody about any motherfucking thing on any phone that belong to you? Cause you know you hot. Like, not lying about that. That's a fact. Big U, that is some diabolical, dirty fucking shit, nigga. You the head of the set, nigga. You talking to every fucking nigga that's a main nigga from that hood. You talking to him on that dirty ass motherfucking phone.
About Rayshard Woman Williams, the murder is in the paperwork. She went and used his father's phone to call him. They got that. 3, they pulled him over in June of 2023 and served a warrant for his DNA for the murder. 4, August of 2023, they arrested him, his wife, and a lady named Anita, Petey Wack from Rolling 60's wife, right, for fucking fraud and shit. So now this is all 2023. You know what that means? We gon' fuck the Sue Surf case that he's in 2022, where he's named that I sent you. That's 5. That's 5 instances where you didn't have federal contact and you don't change your phone number, your socials, or nothing. And you continue to stay on the phone. Do you follow me so far, Act?
Wack, you're preaching to the choir. I have no
Hold on. This is why I gotta say he might be a rat. Why the fuck you keep mentioning my name on that phone?
Wack.
I'm only in there because he keeps mentioning my name. He's not saying contact Wack to get this done, call Wack for a meeting, tell Wack to handle dude, tell Wack I got a problem. He's steadily saying my name about what he wants to do to me to another person. Now here comes where
he hoping that these niggas he talk to do crash out on your dumb ass.
It gets real.
He don't give a
fuck
at the police list.
If you run around here doing all this shit to everybody else, you bitch ass nigga, why the fuck you didn't come do it?
Okay, that's a point.
I tell everybody where I'm at. You got on me. Damn, Wack, this your real address. Damn, you really Wack, you really be here. If you constantly on a hot phone, right? You know I give a nigga my low.
Yeah, that's not smart. And you do.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, from 2022 to now, you know your fucking phone is hot because the feds have came to you directly
Wack, you're slightly dancing though. Like,
no, I'm not.
Hold on.
Why?
Wack,
Here it goes.
Wack,
Why
I'll go with your story.
Mentioning my name on a hot ass phone, bro.
Wack. I'll go with your story and say, yeah.
Ain't no story. Act. This is facts. Okay. I tell you what.
All right.
Look, Act. This is what we're gonna do. Let's bet 10,000.
You're doing a play now.
No. 10,000 each situation I just named. I can show you it in the paperwork.
Wack, the things you're saying to me is not of concern to me, which means whatever you say about Big U, I don't know Big U, and he probably is that.
Yeah, so but that's what you base it on. You base it on Big U mentioning my name.
Wack, I think I'm making a very
Wack doesn't try, but Act not listening to him because what Act is saying is Wack, regardless what you're saying. They've mentioned you enough. He's saying, no, the only reason my name's in there because Big U, he must be a rat mentioning me. He's not snitching on you, bitch ass nigga. Because if he was want to snitch, he'd have brought up them motherfucking guns that you was bringing. No, he's dropping your name on the phone. Every gangster, he's dropping your name on the phone with rolling 60s. Nigga letting them know it's a green light on you and they need to get you when they see you. Handle that business.
Very simple point. Just like how you said Lou should stay off the phone. If my name was mentioned in a federal indictment, I wouldn't.
Lou's is in there. He's in the RICO.
Wait, Wack. Let's stay on topic. What I'm saying is that
in the RICO with a charge.
All right, forget loose. What I'm trying to say is, Wack. The conversation I had today, I said, I'm waiting for Wack to just say, Act, could you stop talking about this? Because I would say to you, if my name was in a
I don't give a fuck.
If my name was in a federal indictment, that brings up pot.
See, that's the problem right there. You keep saying my name. My name ain't in shit. It's Big U mentioning my name.
Yeah, but your rivals are the guy who's charged. Wack. If I'm a street dude, and you know when they say rivals, I mean ops. If my ops just got charged, huh?
Okay, nigga, there's no shooting cases in there but a murder. There's nothing in there that says it was a drive-by happening, there was a retaliation that happened. Then you might be on to something.
Why? Nobody's saying you did nothing. And I wouldn't just
I think you don't understand my position in it, right?
Oh, they absolutely bring up the night that they cornered you in the club and you were screaming Big U and Tiny Draws socked you in your motherfucking jaw. You ran from Tiny Draws, then they cornered you. Wack jumped out the car. He had a gun on him. Big U, my wife here and kids. Don't do it, Big U. Don't do it. Don't do it, Big U. That Big U, they brought that up because Big U was talking about that on the phone to some other Rolling 60 members about so when Wack talk about it ain't talking about it's no retaliation. They bring it up several times. Big U and the Rolling 60s. You know, they bring it up that the Rolling 60s under the leadership of Big U, they have a problem with you, and they have cornered you and assaulted you, and you barely made it out alive on one of those incidents.
Anything in there that dude had going on, I had zero to do with.
Okay, we're not saying you did. I'm just asking you, right?
You got a nigga that keeps out of nowhere. You notice it doesn't say, Wack didn't pay me my money or Wack fucked up on the deal.
Wait,
out of nowhere, he'll just mention my name like he's infatuated with me or something, bro.
I'm just wondering why you lean into this case where.
What you mean why I lean?
This nigga say he just mentioned my name out of nowhere like you infatuated with me. Context matter. Wack was running a slander Big U name on the internet. So when Big U is mentioning this nigga, now remember, he going through Wack is on the internet every day mentioning this nigga. All day, every day mentioning this nigga. Every day mentioning Big U. 600. Every day, every video was about Big U. So when Big U mentioned their names a couple of times on that hot ass phone talking about fucking him up, oh, he's infatuated with me. Chuck.
Lean into it, bro. What you mean? The same reason why that nigga uttered my name. He mentioned my name. I'm a nigga. It's on. I'm not gonna stop. I don't give a fuck if I die today. My team gonna continue, bro. What you mean? You niggas is scared of niggas. I'm not scared of niggas, Zach. I'm not scared. Y'all scared. I'm not scared of a nigga I know.
Wack. All right, hold on. You know what I'm scared of? I'm scared of. I don't know what the feds could be up to, right? I would feel.
It don't matter what they up to. They gonna do what they gonna do, bro.
I would feel guilty if a conversation between me and you led to anything.
What conversation? All we talking about is the paperwork.
You're right, but
I don't sell drugs. I don't rob people. I don't do none of that shit. So if I'm talking about the paperwork, what's written in the paperwork, that's just what I'm talking about, bro. Like, what the fuck you talking about? Like, I don't get it, because what y'all want is y'all want a nigga to bag up off of it. No, new paperwork came out today. Nigga, actually came out yesterday. We read it. Period.
Wack. The only reason why I say that, Wack, the only reason why I said that is that I remember you called me, and I wasn't on stream, but you called me. You said, "Ack, you run a narrative on me," and I felt bad because I said I consider
you ran
Wack.
a narrative. You did. You ran some bullshit.
Wait, Wack, hold on though.
You say, bro, look, Ack, this real shit. You said, and you don't want to bet. I want you to bet. I still want to bet, but you tucking your tail playing pussy. I want to bet. You said, ain't no way. I want you to put that on your mama that the fans have ever in life, not even just with this, had a conversation with Wack 100. Put that on your mama, bro. We can bet that. You said ain't no way because of what you and nigga, you had a video.
Wack. You said the police, the feds called you over Jay Prince. So
I didn't. Jay Prince.
No, hold on.
That got to do with Big U.
Okay.
And now, I want you to say it. Who said the feds called me? Who said it?
You said it about the
I said it, right? Yeah. Did nobody find out? It didn't come out of no paperwork. Wack said it, right?
Mm-hmm. Wack.
So you think I would give a fuck about
Wack
if they came to talk to me about this dude?
Wack. My true opinion on that. This is why that's why I was leaning into that.
Can we bet? I just want to know, can we bet? Because today,
Wack.
The minute orders, let's bet.
Wack.
Look,
I'll bet. You name the price. Hold on, Wack. You name. All right. You
whatever,
name
whatever. 100,000.
What, Wack? Yes, I'll bet 100,000.
That's you saying the feds talk to me.
No. I'll tell you the terms. If the feds didn't talk to you, you're subject of a federal investigation right now. That's why I'm asking you why you're talking.
Hey, you up? Hey, your act. You playing with our friendship right now, nigga. So you telling me right now, there's no difference than you saying the feds talk to you and you ain't saying nothing versus they're investigating you?
Why? I'm saying it's an either or. It's an either or.
No.
I'm hoping it's neither, but it's clearly it's an either or.
No, you dancing. What did you say though, my nigga? As a man, as they looking at you as a man, you accuse me of what?
I said if they probably did try to talk. Now
stop right there. That's what I want to bet.
Conversation. This between men. It's men. Talk shit though. What are you accusing me of? I tell you, nigga, Wack, okay, but quit on bully this man. He told you. He made it clear. Either you talk to the motherfucking police and you're lying, or you're under federal investigation. He told you it's either or. Which one is it?
Bet on. Let's bet on that right there. I don't know what they investigate. No. That's their business.
All right, hold on. Wack. Hold on. Wack. I'll take your word for that. Hold on.
You saying?
Wait. Hold on. I'll do two bets. Then. I'll do two bets. We could do two bets for 100,000 each.
Let's do it.
So the first bet is that they either talk to you. The second bet, you're a subject of a current federal investigation.
I'm not betting when I'm subject because I'm not a fed to know that. I can bet on ain't nobody talk to me. And we can prove that because it'll come out in the minutes.
The reason why I would bet it like that because I think I would come out with because I know it's an either or. Bro. There's no third option.
Hey, listen, bro. Ain't no nigga in violation if he being investigated, bro.
No, I'm not saying you're in violation. I'm just saying. Again,
but you
I told him right now. I bet you $100,000 that either you have talked to the feds or your ass is under federal investigation right now. Wack was like, I can't bet that because how would I know it? See? Now he thinking, damn. Now he thinking, Ack, what do you have? What you got on me that you ain't told me about?
Saying the feds talk to me and I ain't said nothing is a violation.
No, hold on. All right, but here's the thing. I'll back off of that point. But so me backing off that.
Let's bet.
No, hold on. I'm down to back off of that.
Bet.
Wack. My new point is.
Let's bet. No. Okay. Until you bow the fuck down and say, I was wrong for saying that. Let's bet or you pussy.
The best I'll do is I'll give you a zero sum bet, which means I'm betting either or, because I know this is not there's no third possibility. It's either you or
the feds is investigating is their business. You said that they have already come and talked to me.
No, I said that was most likely what probably would have happened.
No, that ain't what you said. You said ain't no way they ain't come to talk to you. So listen, today, the fucking DA addressed that. It's in a minute order, so I know we can get to it. So let's bet. The DA went on the record and said, you went on a fucking video and put it out there and said that 600 and Wack 100 has talked, dealt, or working with the FBI and other agencies, and we're on the record that that's a lie. We never dealt, talked with none of these individuals. They're not going to do that and put themselves in a trick bag, because then that fucking defense attorney could use it against his credibility. They said that today. He said you put a target on them people's back, was lets us know how powerful you are. You put a target, because right here 2 days later, this guy that works for you in the grid, contracted to developing options, put up a post, free Big U, and kill 600. 2 days after, they use it against him. So, that's
Wack, you see, every time I talk to you, what some people think that is me like getting bitches, like, I know your tactics.
Look,
I know your tactics.
Like me saying, bro.
No. I know your tactics. Yeah, Wack. I'm changing my opinion.
I know you.
Wack, talk to you, but it strengthens another point that I believe they might be looking into. Not that you do nothing wrong.
That's cool, bro. I mean, they could be. They might be looking at you.
Hold on. And then
they might be looking at you.
You're right. But then I ask, I wonder why you and people around you still focus on this case that much, because
why shouldn't we?
They might be looking at it.
It's brand new.
If like you don't see me breaking down my situations on here, like that's the only confusing part to me.
Breaking down whose situations?
I mean, I'm not under any, from what I know, any federal investigation in terms of criminality.
Well, okay.
But if I was, and let's say they charge someone.
I don't get what you're saying. This is not my situation. This is what you're missing. You and everybody else want me to be part of this shit so bad. You want me to be the nigga that killed Rayshawn Williams so bad, or the nigga that assisted him in extorting so bad, or the nigga that was fucking bitches with him so bad.
Wack.
Y'all like, why Wack ain't involved?
Wack, if the police describes you as a rival of a criminal, of who they think is a criminal,
what'd that tell you?
No. What do you think they're saying about you? If they're saying that you're a rival of a criminal, you don't think they're thinking you're a criminal?
We don't get along.
So you're saying they don't think you're involved in criminality. Again, I'm not saying you are, because I actually don't believe you are.
Yo, act. Let me explain something to you. You commit more crimes than me, bro. One crime I know you commit every now and then for a fact. Okay. Every now and then, you blowing over 0.08. See, Wack don't drink, so I'm never going to worry about driving under the influence.
I don't drive when I'm drunk.
You commit bullshit. It's a fact. I know. Any nigga that drink, nigga, because y'all don't know, y'all think it's normal. All you niggas that jumped in that driver's seat and drove at a 0.10, 0.0, that is against the law. This is a fact. I think you think, I don't run the streets, bro. I think you think because of the persona, I run the streets, I hang out in the streets. No.
Wack. You're saying things I'm not saying. I don't believe you do any criminal shit. Like, I can't say that enough.
Why would I give a fuck?
No, Wack. I'm going off, just like how you say you go off the paperwork, right? You know, just like how you mentioned the whole Brick Baby, you had your theory about that. I said,
ain't no theory. That's right there, bro.
But Wack, it needs to be no theory. If somebody is a rival of a criminal, it's only likely that the cops think you're a criminal too.
Oh, no, that's some bullshit. No, that's bullshit. They know we're rivals. They know we're rivals because individually we just don't like each other, bro. They know at one point in time we was
So
cool,
they think you're
and now
a legal law-abiding rival of a criminal gang or a criminal enterprise.
Bro, let me understand. You think it ain't no rats from my neighborhood, bro? Do you really think they ain't went over there and asked niggas from my neighborhood, right? Yo, Wack be over here. The Wack be doing this. Are you crazy? It's a fact. Yo, act. It's only like 3 people from my neighborhood that can even talk to me. Period.
Yeah.
Straight up. I cussed the nigga out today.
I keep saying we don't think you're doing criminal.
I cussed the nigga out today for calling my phone. Hey, Wack, who this? This whoopty whoop. Who? What you calling my phone? Blood, we for the same. I don't give a fuck about what we for the same. Don't call my phone, you bitch ass nigga. I don't fuck with you or no other nigga. If you don't know who to call, then nigga, you ain't gonna talk to me. Click. Act. I move different, brother. Everything that you think these dummies do, I don't do.
So wait. And again, and this is why I say, like, I think the internet, like, for me, I don't want them to think I'm a bad friend, because this is why I try to hit you off. Like, if you were like, yo, Act, could you stop talking about this bullshit? Ignore this shit.
When I fly in to see you, do I got my homies with me?
No.
Okay. If you come down to No Jumper, it's the same 4 or 5 faces with me, right? Everybody of age, 40 or better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very quiet, very respectful individuals, right?
Yeah, everything you're saying is true.
That's it. Like, I don't. Hey, bro, I don't think you understand.
No, you're acting like I'm assuming you're.
I had a nigga call me today about 2 hours ago talking about, and it's crazy because R&B's on the side of me. She's looking at me, right? This dude calls me out of nowhere, nigga. I don't know. Hey, Wack, I know how to write grants for your 5013C, and we can make it look like this and make it look like that to an excess of this, that. I say, hey, bro, I don't know who gave you my number, for 1. 2, I don't do grants. 3, I don't have a 5013C. You know what he says? We can take your podcast situation and make it look like this, and they'll cut the check. I say, hey, bro, whatever you talking about, I don't understand it. Don't know nothing about it. It ain't my game. Appreciate the call, but I'm the wrong guy for you. Got off the phone with him. Straight up, I swear to God. I'll call a nigga back with you on the phone. He might be think I want to do it.
Wack, I'm just saying.
Certain shit I don't do, homie.
No, hold on. Wack, as me as square as I am, if, let's say, I don't know, who am I cool with? I don't care who I'm cool with. Like, just if there was a federal indictment even naming me like that, at a certain point, I would be like, Wack, could we just not talk about this on live where I can't say something?
I don't know. That's the side of guilt. Bro, I think you missing the point, homie. I'm not named in there as a suspect, a witness.
You're named as a rival of a criminal.
Okay, great. Now, let me ask you a question. Why do they target me as a rival? For what reason? Let's see if you going.
Because y'all are in street business, clearly.
No. Why do they target me as a rival?
I mean, you could tell me, but if you're gonna say because you've spoken bad about him, you're not the only person who spoke bad about him.
They're targeting me as a rival because he keeps saying my name. My neighborhood is 35 minutes from dude. Do you understand what I'm saying? He got real enemies 4 or 5 blocks away in all directions. You know why they're not saying their rival? Because he's not saying their name. They're only calling me a rival. They calling 600 a rival. Where's 600 from, academics?
He's a rolling 60, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Where Big U from?
Rolling 60s.
But Big U says his name. He says my name. I'm only identified as a rival because this nigga on his hot ass phone keeps saying my name. And he know his phone is hot. The world need to go read the paperwork. Sue Surf Indictment 2022.
Wait, hold on,
Eugene Big U Henley named as number 4 suspect, gang leader. Nigga, 2023.
Wait, can't the opposite be said, though? Can't the opposite be as well said? Because you're right. Eugene Henley, aka Big U, kept speaking about you while his phone was being recorded. But
there you go.
Hold on. But the opposite could be said that you were on Clubhouse, a public platform, talking about him as well.
Oh no, we're talking about the grid program. You never had me.
But you're still discussing.
No,
I'm gonna be honest.
It's a difference. It's a difference.
What's the difference? Go ahead.
Wack is talking about a contract that we're reading. Wack ain't saying, I want to kill the nigga. I want to whoop the nigga's ass. All this shit. That nigga, every time he mentions me, I want to break his jaw. I want to whoop his ass. Right? Every time I mention him, we're talking about the grid program that he openly does to the people. We're reading a contract, bro. That's it.
Yeah, but through, like, you know, your associate 600, it came, you know, at least to the popular part of the internet about a possible murder, like
that's not
conversations about him working.
Not 600. That is through somebody that was posing to be his sister and mother.
Let me ask you this question though: the reason why did he just randomly just say we need to break his jaw, or did he hear you?
He randomly said it.
Hold on, or did he hear you talking on Clubhouse about him doing a narrative and running?
Here goes the thing, academic. Big U has been on Clubhouse talking about me.
Okay, that's true too. Fair is fair.
So what the fuck, like you niggas, this little bitch ass niggas, ain't nobody scared of dude, bro. He is who he is. You know what our cemeteries is full of, bro?
Mm-hmm. What?
Gangsters and killers and tough niggas. That's what our cemeteries is full of, bro.
It's very out of the ordinary for there to be an oncoming RICO and for so much of it to already be being discussed on social media and on podcasts.
Who's doing that?
When does that happen? You and 600.
Welcome back to Scandalous Los Angeles TV, where we expose the exposers. Ever since Lucy Coochie got picked up by the feds, the energy's been different, especially from the people who were once closest to him. Most noticeably is his handler, CS2 Back, better known on the street as Porky. Now that Lucy's in custody, Porky's doing everything he can to distance himself. The same guy who was backing every story Lucy told, co-signing all the lies, is now calling him a liar, saying he never believed a word Lucy said. Porky was the one verifying those claims, and now he's acting like he was never involved. In this video, we'll expose how CS2 Back, being Loose Cannon's official handler, has been the Porky puppet master, pulling Lucy's strings from the very beginning. This is deeper than YouTube content. This is about handlers, the feds, and how the streets are waking up to who's really who. For anybody who still questions whether Porky the Porch Monkey puppet master is working for the feds or not, I want you to listen to what he said a while ago about Vlad TV.
Man, he better let you know that Vlad, look, bro, I told y'all the other day, Vlad was working with the police the whole time. Vlad was working with the police the whole time. Yeah, you did say the whole time he was working on the interview. Certain questions he was asking was direction from them. Certain questions he was asking was direction from them. The whole time he was paying us to come in there so he can do that. But they bit, they went for it. Now, if we continue, even like Lil Bootsy, to go over there with that who don't look like us, to go over there with that who don't look like us, he just showed his head. He cooperating with the law, motherfuckers. He cooperating with the law, motherfuckers. Right? And that's on y'all. That's what that is.
Did y'all catch that? Because Porky just said a lot in that little rant he just went on. He just said that DJ Vlad is working with the feds, and that they're feeding Vlad specific questions to ask his guests. He also claimed Vlad is paying certain celebrities to come on his platform, just so he can ask them the questions that the feds want answers to. Then he called out Lil Boosie by name. Porky said if Boosie keeps doing interviews with a guy who doesn't look like us, then he's showing his hand. Basically saying that Boosie and anyone else doing Vlad interviews are cooperating. So now that we know how Porky really sees Vlad, and the people who look like us that sit down with him, let's take a listen to just one of the many statements he made on Vlad, who Porky again said was the feds.
After the murder, when Quando went back to Georgia, what did he immediately do?
Dropped his flag?
There it goes. What was he claiming?
Roll 60 script.
Where Brick Baby from?
Roll 60 script.
What you think the police told Quando?
That the Roll 60s set him up?
Who you think he checked in with?
Roll 60s?
With who?
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
That's
I'm not going to say
listen.
it. Yeah.
Listen.
I'm not going to say it.
No, listen.
You just heard Porky sit down with the feds and attempt to implicate Big U in another murder. At this point, I really don't know what else needs to be said.
Okay, I already know the answer to this because I heard you say it on No Jumper, but I know a lot of people be asking I can repeat what you're gonna say, but I'll ask it. Why did you get in bed or be cool with Luce and bring him on and start exposing them to No Jumper? I know the word is
he had a TV show
your enemy is my friend, but go ahead.
He had a TV show coming out.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, I didn't really know a lot of shit of people Luce had dealt with, right? Because remember, you had an issue with him and I didn't know it. I guess he said.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Shit.
Yeah.
He said some crazy shit about you.
Yeah.
Right?
Reggie Wright. Listen. Let me hear one more thing you talking about me, you fat bitch. And I'm gonna expose your ass. You know the story, what you done said, what y'all used to do when y'all was at death row? Yeah, I know. Don't make me expose you and make your fat ass get off that couch, bitch.
I thought you was protecting me. You. Some people would tell me you sicked him on me, but I know better than that.
Reggie might be laughing, but deep down, he knows the truth. And the truth is that Porky is the one behind Luce's attack on him. Porky isn't just some background character. He's Lucy's handler.
Chuck, we all have a handler, bro.
Stop it, Wack.
You do? I got a handler. I'm Luce's handler.
Hey, my handler tried to throw me.
I got a handler. My handler, yo, Chuck. We all got handlers, Chuck. Chuck, we all have a handler, bro.
Stop it, Wack.
You do? I got a handler. I'm Luce's handler.
Hey, my handler tried to throw me.
I got a handler. My handler, yo, Chuck.
I didn't know that was the handler.
6 months ago, my handler, you ain't noticed I done bagged up off the app about 50%?
Yeah.
Because my handler said, Wack, contract's about to close, time to start shutting that down. My handler told me that.
Who your handler, R&B,
See, a handler ain't gotta be.
Hey, that's the real Bimmy or that's somebody trolling?
What?
That's Bimmy. I already sent him an invite.
Oh, Bimmy, yeah. Bimmy, I told Bimmy to pull up.
Listen, a handler don't gotta be like, you know.
Yo, Bimmy, you gotta accept the invite.
You know, like Luz. Man, if I wasn't in this crazy ear, this would have been on some other.
Man, I do be on the other. You just be stopping me. Man, I do be on the other. You just be stopping me. Man, I do be on the other. You just be stopping me.
Yeah, the handler's a motherfucker that you will listen to because you respect them and you know they got your best interest at heart. Lior has Kevin's best interest at heart, right? I got Lou's best interest at heart.
Whatever Porky says, Lucy follows. If Porky tells him to stand down, he does. But that didn't happen this time, because Porky wanted it to happen. He gave the green light. And Lucy's not the only one carrying out Porky's agenda. Porky is also SBGB TV's handler. And right now, like clockwork, SBGB TV is out here pushing the same narrative about Reggie. The one Porky's been fueling all along.
Back in the day, Reggie got caught up fucking with a dude named Sid that was working for Suge as a personal assistant. Woo! Hold up. See, I knew Wack got some dirt on Reggie Wright. Reggie Wright liked to fuck with those old boys. Hold up. Reggie Wright was fucking with them boys. Hold up. Or was he in the streets fucking around? We need to know. Because if he was fucking with them boys, he looked like one of those motherfuckers, right?
The pattern's clear. The pork belly puppet master pulls the strings, and his puppet puppies dance.
So I didn't know nothing about that shit.
Yeah.
I called him. I said, yo, bro, what's this crazy shit you saying about Reg? He was talking about like one of the security guards told him. See, this is how you know when you thinking this crazy shit. Tez or somebody's uncle talking about they did some sexual shit to you, right? Remember that shit?
Yeah, well, he said it was the Vivian or something, the accountant or bookkeeper or something. And we know we don't have no black folks that work for us. She don't trust black people with his money.
So I think January, he came to me, and it was a manager dude he got. It's a white dude, bro. He just called me the other day. It's a white dude he got. Maceo or Marcio, some shit. But he the one originally called me. He like, yo, Loose Cannon got this show, and can you help me market it? So at this time, Loose has said a bunch of crazy shit about me. Loose has said a bunch of crazy shit about me. Loose has said a bunch of crazy shit about me. But I didn't pay it no attention because I didn't really know him. But I didn't pay it no attention because I didn't really know him. But I didn't pay it no attention because I didn't really know him.
By now, most of y'all should know. If Porky's lips are moving, there's a good chance he's lying. This is exactly what I meant when I said Porky's been doing everything he can to distance himself from the guy he handles. Now he's trying to claim that when Loose was dissing him, they didn't even know each other. That's what he's sitting here saying, with a straight face, like we're all just supposed to forget the past. Porky already admitted that back when Loose was going at him, it was all part of the plan. That Loose was being instructed to diss him, to make it look like they were enemies. So let's roll the clip. Let's hear Porky, in his own words, admit that he was pulling the strings the entire time.
You know why he know the footage exists? You know why Loose Cannon know that the footage I speak of is real?
That's the baby mama?
That's his fucking cousin.
Oh, shit, bro. I'm done. I'm gone. All right, y'all.
You didn't catch when I said you stupid. Loose been with me the whole time, you dumb, stupid ass. Niggas over there shaking like dinosaurs right now. God.
Loose has been with him the whole time. He made a diss song about Wack. He made a diss song. That was the play to do that.
Come on. He said, I got about 50 niggas on the street right now.
That motherfucking loyal member underneath him. That's how you do it. You always keep one right there. Like, go at me all the time.
Dang. Loose been wanting to come out. I just didn't let him out yet. Loose been wanting to come out. I just didn't let him out yet. I just didn't let him out yet. I just didn't let him out yet.
So Porky just said out of his own mouth that Loose has been with him the entire time. You heard his pet pedophile, Bacon Grease Beast, cheerleading and praising Porky for having Loose with him the whole time. Porky then went on to say that Loose has been wanting to come out, but he himself wouldn't let Loose come out yet. So like I was saying before, Loose does whatever Porky tells him to do, and you guys just heard it with your own ears.
You get what I'm saying? Okay. If you go look on the thing, he said all kind of crazy shit about me, but I'm like, and wrote out. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think you're riding out for your homie.
Loose Cannon?
You guys
That's nephew.
You guys are doing a little bit of shady business together.
Not shady. Might be, me and Loose Cannon been comrades for quite some time. We fooled the streets.
What about those
Did you hear the Loose Cannon diss song on me?
Yeah, and I feel like you're lying when you say that it was all premeditated and planned out.
It was. He told me that's what he wanted to do. I told him do it. So I'm like, I looked at it, and he warned me, he said, Wack is some shit on the internet, but he's really trying to market this show. It's a bag for you. I said, what do you want? He wants you to get him to the platforms. So I brought him to No Jumper. If you notice, him and his wife is there. It's called Bad and the Beast. It's the name of the show.
Okay.
It's out Urban Flicks, right? So I had February, March, April. February to May was the run. So, you know, they paid me what they paid me. I took him there, and then I seen the academics. I had to trick academics. I told academics I was coming.
You act like you was going. Yeah, I heard you. You told me,
Yeah, right. I know once he was there in front of him, he was going to run the show.
He going to go ahead and do it. Yeah.
This is when he said the Carl Winslow shit.
Yeah.
Right. So in my head, I'm like, listen, I'm here to do a job. Whatever nigga want to say, he can say. You get what I'm saying? Period. I just told him, I think the only stipulation I put on him was you.
So again, Porky is the one handling Lucy. He just said that he hooked him up with No Jumper and DJ Academics. He also just said that he was able to put stipulations on Lucy also, proving that Lucy does what Porky allows him to do. And if Porky doesn't want him to do something, he'll put stipulations on him.
Yeah. He was the only one, because I said, Reg, I don't know nothing about it. I'm getting paid to promote this show. But
you know what I called and asked you. And I got mad at you because I said you was protecting me. Because I wanted to know.
I said, Reg, I'm not protecting nobody.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about it. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you this. He won't do that to you again, right? That shit was said, I guess, prior to, right?
Yeah.
And again, Reg,
well, he was mad because he felt like I called him out for saying that was a lie or a play about what y'all, what he said he had. And I was just saying, and all I said, if it don't come out by that date, then he lied.
That's exactly what happened.
Waiting to see how they gonna cover up February the 14th if this doesn't come out. And if it does come out, whoa. A lot of people credibility is on the line with this.
And Reggie made it clear. He said if Luce didn't drop that video on February 14th, the one where Big U supposedly FaceTimed him and said Nipsey Hussle had been killed 30 minutes before it actually happened, then both Lucy and Porky were lying to everybody. Now fast forward to today, and suddenly Porky's saying Luce was lying the whole time. But let's not forget, back then, Porky was standing right next to him, defending everything he said. He was even acting like he was ready to bet money on Luce's claims.
Okay, but you realize that some very, very serious allegations were made during that interview.
So what?
And a lot of them don't really seem to stand up.
Luke, how you know? You a white boy.
I've seen a lot of evidence to the contrary.
You seen what? What you see?
I
tell you what, Adam, you're a wealthy man. I'll front the 100. You put up 100,000. I have Luce pull up. If he ain't got what he say he got, I'll pay you 100. If he do, you give me 100.
I'm not really trying to be the guy who decides exactly what happened or didn't happen.
Stop trying to discredit something that you can't. But what we can do, hold on, Adam. I'll front the 100 for Luce. If he ain't got it, I'll lose that. If he got what he say he got, you pay. We got a bet.
So at this point, it's clear. By Porky's own admission, he's been Lucy's handler, and they've been working together for a long time. But now that Lucy's behind bars, Pork Belly's out here acting like he barely knows the guy, trying to play innocent, like he wasn't right there in the mix the whole time. The switch-up is nasty work, but the receipts don't lie.
Well, Wack, let me ask you this, because I've been knowing you as this legendary kind of behind-the-scenes figure throughout hip-hop for decades. I'll keep it real, I hadn't really heard much about Loose Cannon until he started hanging around with you.
That's a fact. That's just what's real.
But I knew very little about him until I've read this whole this criminal complaint, and I've become to know how close he was to Big U, knowing your relationship with Big U. Now I'm looking back thinking, How had you and him got so close, considering that history?
They didn't become cool until Luce was no longer cool with. But he was.
How are you trusting a guy that was so cool with
up until like what, 2 years ago?
Nah, 2021, early 2021.
Okay.
So CS2 Back and Aryan Adam are trying to push the narrative that Porky didn't start messing with Luce until 2021. Even though Porky already told Adam the Aryan that him and Lucy were together way back when Lucy did the diss song. For some reason, Porky is now hell-bent on making the people believe that he didn't start messing with Luce until 2021.
So at the end of the day, it's like, I realized, like, damn, it's 2023 and you got a BlackBerry. Like they didn't even.
How long have I been asking you about that BlackBerry?
Since 2015. Since 2015. Since 2015.
So now Porky's saying he met Lucy in 2021. But that doesn't line up with what he said before. In that No Jumper interview with Lucy just last year, they both admitted they'd knew each other back in 2015, clearly showing they'd been locked in long before 2021. The timeline's off, and Porky knows it. This just proves how long he and Lucy have really been working together.
When I do what I'm supposed to do, everybody witnessed it. Y'all witnessed outside of No Jumper. Did I do what I was supposed to do?
You didn't do anything.
No, bullshit. Oh, bullshit. I stopped some shit.
Wack, when
Did
you
I not?
lined up, when you lined up,
Did I not?
when you lined
I
up,
didn't. You stopped it? You telling me I didn't stop nothing outside this building?
Unless there was a threat that we didn't see off camera.
Are you telling me out there with this weenie, the PDF file, Jay Reed, y'all telling me I didn't stop nothing?
you could get sued.
No, you're a motherfucking lie. I didn't stop nothing.
You hear Porky yelling, trying to plead his case, saying he stopped Lucy from killing Jay Reed that day at No Jumper. When you run the footage back, the truth comes out. Lucy pulls the gun off his hip, and at the same time, you hear the Porky puppet master himself shouting at Lucy, telling him not to do it. Porky didn't break up anything. He didn't intervene physically, but he did tell Lucy to stand down. And Lucy listened, because Porky is his handler and puppet master. Porky wasn't lying when he said that he told Lucy to stop. But what Porky is conveniently leaving out is he's also the one who told his minion to do it, showing you again that Lucy does whatever Porky tells him to do, because Porky is his handler.
They got caught, doing it. They try to come up to Wack on some goofy stuff. Wack said, nephew, let's make an example. And that's what we did. Wack said, nephew, let's make an example. And that's what we did. Wack said, nephew, let's make an example. And that's what we did.
Next time I won't stop again.
What'd you stop?
Huh?
When it happened though.
When I
They were
stop?
gonna kill him?
When I stop?
Oh, Wack saved your life. What happened?
Nigga, when I stop? Are y'all got amnesia?
Oh,
don't do that. Don't do that. Because it could have been a whole other scene out there.
Adam, don't play dumb.
Are you for real?
I ain't gonna lie, sometimes Adam plays dumb. Hold on, I know, hold on.
Did you watch the video?
I seen him.
So you're saying they would have killed him if you weren't there?
You listen, bro. You heard
Should
it.
have gave him a leg up at least.
You heard it.
Let's give him a leg up.
That's what you.
Are you for real? All right, I got you.
Maybe
So
I
Wack
gotta rewatch
stop
it.
the situation.
What? If I without my voice, that shit was finna go somewhere.
That's all, folks.
Adam22 is very upset, angry, pissed off at Brick Baby, and he just dropped a 14-minute video expressing the such Now, he's upset at Brick Baby because Brick Baby released a video on his channel from prison where he essentially took some shots at Adam.
That's the one thing, man. I ain't fighting life. You know what I mean? It's gonna be over one day. You know what I mean? Hey, it's that big old deal, man. It's that break, man. Why everybody laid up with their feet up out there, vacation and playing like they ain't got nothing for the kids, man. You already know we still keeping it strong. No, nothing for.
This call is from a federal prison.
Hey, sometimes it be a mental test to see where hard at in his chest, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, they use you, abuse you. As soon as you get out the way, they act like they ain't worried about losing you. You know what I mean?
MF's on vacation with their feet up, acting like they don't got nothing for you. MF will use you and throw you out the way, and as soon as you gone, they act like they ain't afraid to lose you. Oh, who could he be talking about? Well, obviously, Adam22, the big 22-ster. And this ain't the first time. Brick Baby called into No Jumper at some point and said that Adam ain't been picking up his phone calls. All right, Adam responded back claiming, no, his girlfriend was supposed to call Adam. She forgot, she dropped the ball. So it was actually on the girl and not Adam, but they fixed it and they spoke afterwards. But then this happened. Now, from my perspective, what Brick Baby said is whatever. I don't even feel like Adam would be tripping too hard on what Brick said. He would kind of understand it and treat it as a part of the game. However, the 22-ster took Brick Baby's comment a little harsh and a little personal because he found out that Brick Baby apparently had a conversation with a former employee, Sharp, and Sharp revealed to the world that Brick Baby told him a couple of things, and he heard firsthand that Adam was turning his back on Brick Baby, and Adam felt like Brick Baby crossed the line by talking to Sharp about him.
You know, when he was calling, you know, Adam, he ain't answering, or whatever the case may be. He's calling people, and they not picking up. Now they're avoiding him. Why is that? Boy, why ain't you answering Brick calls? You ain't doing nothing right. Y'all been making content about them for the last 2 weeks. Why is it that he ain't received a paycheck? And motherfuckers is making money off of what he been doing. And I'm hearing that, you know, from reliable sources, his people, you know, that reached out about it. And, you know, they're not getting no feedback on it, no response. I mean, they did have a life before he went to jail, homie. Like, that's what happens at jobs. Like, he don't get his money. And missing out on some bands because he ain't there. Come on, brother. That ain't cool. You're supposed to make sure that he got it. His baby mama or nobody like ain't received nothing. Like just even the money that he's owed legitimately for what, you know, the work that he's done. Because I know he got a salary. Why ain't that man received his bread? Like what's going on? Give him his bread. He at a point right now where he could use that for his family. He still got, you know what I'm saying? He got kids in school. He got all types of going on. How do you use his bread on him? It's the time where he probably need it the most. What I'm saying is very simple. I don't care what the case may be. He got kids. He got going on. At least get in his last movement, his last hoorah before you say him. But I knew that it was coming, homie. I knew that it was coming. I seen it. I just shut up. Like, nah, you know, let it rock. Just be careful. Man, now look. Y'all made money off the man's name. I ain't gonna say y'all because that pinpoints too many people. But, you know, certain people have made money off of the likeliness of that whole situation for the last couple of weeks and ain't put $1 towards it. Man, I know the real people, man. His loved ones. Like, you know what I'm saying?
This is what really got Adam mad and pissed off. What Brick Baby said is cool. Adam, to be honest, if Sharp hadn't made this video, Adam probably would have just like let the Brick Baby stuff go. But Adam couldn't let Sharp get in one up on him. So Adam did a 40-yard dash from vacation, came back straight to the pocket. Bro, Adam got back from vacation and go home. He drove directly to the studio, bro, to pick up this podcast mic to respond back to Brick Baby and Sharp. So Adam will pretty much start off by saying, yo, that Brick Baby owes him a lot of money. He will say Brick Baby owes him a very significant amount of money. And he actually gives the exact figure and when the money was borrowed.
Okay. So if you didn't catch it, this is a thinly veiled shot at the 22-ster. I was on vacation. I did have my feet kicked up. But let's talk about Brick Baby. And in particular, the financial side of my relationship with the brick, not the trick. When Brick Baby came on the platform 2 years ago, pretty quickly, the feds ran up in his crib and raided him. He needed money to get out. Now, it's been discussed at length that I fronted him an amount of money, $5,000, so that he could get out the same day that he was picked up. I know Wack 100 and a few other people have been spreading information saying that this was cap. I don't know. Honestly, the other day in the Reddit, somebody posted information saying that he really did have a bail and that was where the $5,000 went. I never really heard about it. I heard rumors in the streets that maybe this money was not required for him to be bailed out, that he didn't have a bail. But I did see these screenshots in the Reddit that make it seem as if he did have a bail. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I gave him the money, had to get him back out on the streets.
It doesn't just stop at this 5,000. There's more. But for this particular 5,000, I would say, yes, Adam did help out Brick, but I believe that investment was mutually beneficial. That $5,000 was a great investment. He got a great return on that investment, essentially because at that particular time, that's when AD, T-Rail, everybody left, and No Jumper was looking for a third No Jumper show host, right? And they tried out Court, they tried out Brick Baby, and Brick Baby was obviously somebody who the fans gravitated towards. So when you just got some steam rolling after the huge debacle and everybody left, and this is a host that everybody loves on the show, then 5,000 to me isn't really that much to retain that particular host. So to me, this was goodwill and good faith on Adam's behalf, but it also was mutually beneficial. But it doesn't just stop at this 5,000 though, right? Brick came to Adam again for another bag.
I knew that he had potential. I knew that I could take him from being a marginal figure in the LA podcasting space to being one of, if not the most talked about person in the podcasting space, which is exactly what has happened over the course of the past couple of years. Never asked him for the money back. Never asked for it. You feel me? Now, to his credit, for like 2 years after that, he did not ask me for any additional funds. So from my perspective, you know, I was just like, okay, whatever. This is part of doing business. I gave him the $5K. I'm not going to bring it up again. And over the course of those 2 years, my prediction did come true. Brick Baby basically soared to new heights, became one of the most talked about people in the community. And as far as our relationship, I would like to think that we actually became something like friends. We got closer and closer, spent time hanging out various times, went out to a lot of different parties and stuff, basically formed a relationship that honestly was a little bit more developed than the type of relationship that I've formed with most of the hosts that No Jumper has had over the years. Fast forward to a couple months ago, Brick Baby reaches out to me again, asks if he can borrow a couple $1,000s for, I don't know, he's like moving into a new spot or some shit like that. I said, okay. Didn't even bring up the fact that I had let him borrow this $5,000. I figured after 2 years, you know, shit, whatever. So I let him borrow this additional $2,000-$3,000. I forget what it was. And then very soon after that, like I'm talking like a week later, he gets picked up by the feds, right? Ever since then, there's been murmurings, people wondering, what is Adam22 going to do to help out Brick in this situation? Now, from my perspective, I'm $7,000-$8,000 in the hole in terms of money that I have let you borrow, which I'm not really the kind of person who lets people borrow money all the time. Like, of everybody who's ever worked for me, I honestly don't think I can think of a situation in which any of them have borrowed money from me. Like, that's just not really the kind of relationship that I like to have with people who work for me. You know, if it is an emergency, okay, we could do something. But for the most part, it's just not really how I get down. You know, it's like, I just don't, I don't like to have that kind of thing going on. I pay you for your service and you do the job and we're good. But as far as taking out loans consistently, constantly, I'm not really into it.
There's two dynamics at play here. Brick Baby and Adam, the friends, because Brick Baby and Adam are closer in age, so that's probably why Adam was quicker or easier to develop a relationship with Brick Baby than he is probably with other employees who are probably significantly, younger. And then there's Brick Baby and Adam, the employer and the employee. Both Adam and Brick Baby is struggling with this dynamic and figuring out where the lines are. Most people won't be able to pick up the phone and call their employer to ask for money, right? But if that's your homie, you can. So Adam is forced to operate from an employer and a friend. And I feel like that's significantly harder than having to operate from an employee and a friend. You feel me? Because as an employer, you are the one who is tasked with the hard decisions. You're the one who has to let them know, hey, bro, you ain't getting a raise this year. Hey, bro, we got to take away some of your pay. Hey, bro, you're not really doing your job. You're fired. So you got to do certain things that's difficult. As the friend and the employee, well, you get all the perks. So when Brick Baby gets locked up, the employer is saying, well, man, bro, you get locked up. You about to be locked up for another like 2 or 3 years fighting this case, bro. You are still on payroll. We can't really keep you on payroll because you're not really working. We can't keep somebody who's in jail on 3 years, right? Like you don't expect to be kept on payroll if you work at McDonald's or work at a call center. They won't keep you on payroll if you get arrested and fighting the case for 3 years. And, you know, like No Jumper is currently having money issues. We can't afford to keep somebody who's not working on payroll. But the friend is saying, that's my homie. I don't care if he already borrowed $8,000. He's currently in jail fighting the case. His family is going through it. I got your back, bro. Let's rock out. Yo, what's mine is yours. You need to be on payroll to, you feel me, to pay your bills. All right, bro, here. So these are dynamics you really have to navigate. And in most situations, if that was me, I'm heartless. I'll be real. I'm heartless, bro. You feel me? My business usually comes before friendships. But with Adam and Brick, it's a little different. So Adam would explain how he's been trying to navigate that and why it's been kind of difficult. But he would also say that Brick Baby never really asked him for money since he'd been locked up. And he would also say that he feels disappointed that Brick Baby never talked to him about these things, but he talked to Sharp about it.
Throughout our relationship so far. But I say all that to just set the stage. Then he gets locked up and people are pretty much automatically, you know, suggesting in the comments, people talking about it on podcasts, is Adam going to pay for his lawyer? Is Adam putting money on his books? Whatever. And I'm going to be real with you. For like the first month that he was locked up, he didn't ask me for shit. He didn't say anything about it, which I kind of appreciated because I feel like if I just gave you $2,000 like immediately before you got locked up, it is kind of weird for you to get locked up and then be like, hey, like, can I have even more money, especially given this prior debt? Because my thing is like, if you want to get an official verdict on how I'm willing to help you out financially, in addition to what I've done for you previously, I feel like you should be upfront about that. I've talked to Brick on the phone a whole bunch of times since he's been locked up, including like the day before this video came out. And it was none of this energy at all. And in addition to that, we've got people like Sharp, who don't got a pot to piss in, who ain't done nothing for Brick, who can't do anything for anybody because he's dead broke. He's coming out, making YouTube videos, doing streams where he's passing judgment on what I've done for Brick. Keep in mind, I've had Brick on salary for 2 years straight, even when he was missing shows, even when he was out of town doing whatever, never fronted on him in terms of the money. Now we've got Sharp, who, you know, Sharp has never done anything besides women and be ugly, and he's out here trying to cast judgment on me.
Me just being objective and not biased because I love Brick and I love Adam. I probably wasn't as close with either of them as they were together, but yo, I love them both. You feel me? But if Brick Baby never told Adam this and they were on the phone the day before and they were talking and they had a conversation and it was all cool, but Brick is going public with it and telling Sharp, that's wrong. That's wrong. And Brick, listen, bro, Brick knows. Bro, I love you. Hey, listen, bro. Brick, bro, you know, bro. Bro, listen, bro. I'm doing my part, bro. You feel me? I'm doing my part. Feel me? While you there, bro, I got you. But you wrong for this, bro, if you never told him. Now, again, this is Adam's part. Brick Baby hasn't spoken out yet, so we don't know, all right? But from Adam's perspective, if what Adam is saying is true, Brick is wrong for that, bro. You're supposed to have the conversation man to man, bro. Now, I know it can be difficult to tell the homie, yo, I have expectations from you because as a man, you really don't want to tell nobody you expect something from them or you need them. But if you have expectations or you need a homie, hey, bro, yo, I need you right now, bro. But I don't feel like you tell Sharp or tell the public before you tell Adam. Now, this is the part where I kind of where I got really wide-eyed. I said, whoa, hold on. This is a very interesting choice of words. Adam spoke on the future of Brick Baby on No Jumper, and Adam says he has concerns about Brick Baby returning back to the platform. This left me stunned, people.
So if this is true, this is the first and only source that I've heard from that has specified this in any way. Do I have concerns about Brick Baby returning to the platform? Yes, obviously that would be kind of interesting, and I would wonder about the level of heat that it would draw to the building. Obviously, things like the gun that they saw in his waistline that I didn't see and that I don't think the comments saw, but that was pointed out in his bail hearing that he had a strap on him. That kind of thing is the kind of thing that I would want to really be on point with.
From my perspective, that sounds like the last time we've seen Brick Baby on No Jumper. Listen, I haven't talked to Adam about this. We haven't had a conversation. I'm just strictly giving, bro, Adam might see this and be mad at me. Adam, I love you, bro. I'm sorry. But from the wording of that, hey, bro, it might bring some heat to the office. This might not be the best option to come back. We got to be careful. Hey, bro, that wording like that, man, and Brick might be fighting this case for 2 or 3 years. Wording like that, it sounds like that might be the last time we've seen Brick Baby on camera, man. Feel me? At No Jumper, bro. But hey, y'all let me know in the comment section. What do you guys think? What's your thoughts on this? Free Brick.
Did Chicago rapper Durk Banks, also known as Lil Durk, orchestrate a murder-for-hire plot against Quando Rondo that ended with the rival's cousin dead and multiple people caught up in the conspiracy? Well, that's what the government's alleging, and they point to Durk's own song lyrics as proof of his alleged actions. That's what we want to focus on, because the defense says there is a big problem with that Durk recorded those lyrics months before the alleged murder for hire. And unless he had a time machine or he could predict the future, there's really no way they could be about this killing, about this alleged murder. So Durk's team has filed a motion to dismiss the federal indictment against him, or at the very least, release information about what the government showed the grand jury to support the charges in this case. The motion reads, quote, Defendant Durk Banks, through his counsel of record, moves the court to dismiss the superseding indictment against him in this matter. In the alternative, he moves to compel disclosure of the grand jury minutes and evidence the government presented to the grand jury. Now, before we dive into the juicy details into this filing, I do want to give you just a quick history on how we got here, in case you're not familiar with it. So, after the death of his friend King Von back in 2020, Durk reportedly put out a hit on Quando Rondo, a rival rapper in Georgia that Durk allegedly believed was the instigator behind his friend being killed. So prosecutors say in 2022, Durk found out that Rondo was going to be in Los Angeles. So he allegedly organized members of his crew, a rap collective called Only the Family, or OTF, to travel to Southern California and target Rondo. And the government claims that OTF is a criminal enterprise that has engaged in violence, including murder and assault. Investigators believe that Durk's right-hand man, Kevon Grant, was the one who secured the cars, the hotel rooms, and the guns for this assassination of Rondo. An October 2024 indictment accused multiple defendants of following Quando Rondo's black Escalade around LA on August 19th, 2022. In fact, traffic camera photos show a white Infiniti following the SUV until it pulls into a gas station. And the filing also apparently includes surveillance photos of the suspects appearing to fire guns toward the gas pumps. Yeah, not a great idea. At least 18 rounds were fired at the car in broad daylight, including, apparently, a machine gun. Remember, during a busy afternoon at a gas station. This is a blatant attack. Now, Quando Rondo actually wasn't hurt in the shooting, but it turns out In a sad turn of events, his cousin, Savia Robinson, referred to as SR in court documents, was killed. When the indictment against several people, including Kevon Grant, came down in federal court, Durk wasn't even named as a defendant yet. Rather, he was an alleged collaborator identified as co-conspirator 1. However, in a superseding indictment a few weeks later, that is when Durk was added officially as a named defendant and was charged with conspiracy and use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and use, carry, and discharge of firearms and a machine gun in furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. And while Durk isn't actually accused of being at the Beverly Hills gas station when this apparent shooting happened, prosecutors say he was the one who called for the hit. He was the one who ordered it. He helped facilitate travel to Los Angeles, and he paid the men who actually did the shooting. Prosecutors allege that Durk texted a co-conspirator, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." But since that time, Durk offered a substantial bail package to get pretrial detention. The judge denied it. He has maintained his innocence, and now his lawyers are arguing this whole case against him needs to be tossed out. And it all relates back to rap lyrics sung by Durk as a feature on a song by another artist, Babyface Ray. And the prosecution claims that Durk rapped about Savia Robinson's death, commercializing his alleged revenge. So here are the lyrics that the prosecution is talking about. Quote, "Told me they got an Addy, go, go. Got location, go, go. Green light, go, 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 go. Look on the news and see your son, you screaming no, no." Now, prosecutors seem to claim that the no, no part comes from when Quando Rondo was apparently screaming no, no when his cousin was shot. And they reference how the song allegedly has audio of Rondo screaming that, reportedly taken from news footage. But the defense says that couldn't be farther from the truth. All right, so to talk about this, I want to bring on civil rights attorney Joe Richardson, who I'm so happy to see. I haven't seen Joe in quite some time. So, Joe, thanks so much for taking the time to come back here on Sidebar. Look at that face. Always smiling, always happy to be on.
Good to see you, Jesse.
I'm happy to talk to you about this because this has been a hot topic over the last couple of years. Can prosecutors take what's said in rap lyrics, in song lyrics, and use it as a kind of confession? Generally speaking, I mean, how does it work? Is it, have we seen it a lot in trials? Has it been persuasive?
We've seen it happen quite a bit. I don't know that I'd say it's been persuasive. I think the biggest example we look at is Young Thug down in Atlanta. They took a lot of his lyrics, and even though technically speaking, ultimately they got a conviction, he actually walked out on time served. Most of the people that were prosecuted didn't end up being convicted. And I don't think anybody would call that prosecution a successful prosecution. And so, you know, you've got freedom of speech issues. Does it mean that just because I'm saying something in a rap song, and it typically is a rap song, does that mean that I actually did something? And this is an extra interesting twist here because Lil Durk's attorney is saying, well, this song was actually released months before the murder. So he can't say in the past tense that I did something that I hadn't done that hadn't happened several months before. So we're seeing it more and more. I don't know if I'd say it's successful, but it's interesting that they've used this to get a superseding indictment.
Talking legal issues like this, how can I not bring up legal experts, our sponsor, our partner, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. You know why they're so large? Listen to this. Past few months, Morgan & Morgan secured a $9.3 million verdict for a car crash victim in Florida, $5.6 million verdict for another car accident victim in Atlanta, and not to mention $1.8 million in Kentucky after insurance offered them a mere $5,000 in that case. And look, even if you think your case isn't worth millions of dollars, why not start a claim and fight for what you deserve? Morgan & Morgan makes it so simple. You can start a claim from your phone in just 8 clicks. You don't even have to leave your couch. So if you're injured, you can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/LC sidebar or click the link in the description and pinned in the comments. Do you know how they typically authenticated a trial? I mean, who do they call to the stand in order to get the lyrics in and you know, say it is what it is? Do you know? I'm just trying to imagine how this might come up at an upcoming federal trial.
Well, there's a couple things, right? First of all, you know, is there actually a reasonable denial that person can make that they actually got on and did the lyrics, right? So it's going to be somebody, I would imagine, from an authentication purpose, somebody that was in the studio, frankly, somebody that they're squeezing that they might know and hear. You've got co-conspirators that have been indicted as well. So it's going to be somebody that was there, as it were, because all other things being equal, Lil Durk's not going to get on the stand and testify against himself because most times people don't. So you're going to authenticate it in kind of regular ways. Someone that would have cause to know that these were the lyrics that were made. Now, it's a separate issue entirely as to whether or not you can authenticate or confirm this is what the lyrics were about. This is what they were talking about. Here's the backdrop, and all of those other things become subject to cross-examination, et cetera.
So I want to dive into this motion to dismiss and get into the meat of it. So it reads, quote, "The government presented false evidence to the grand jury that indicted Mr. Banks on November 7th, 2024. The plain language of the superseding indictment makes it apparent that the government told the grand jury that Mr. Banks, through specific lyrics in his music, celebrated and profited from a revenge murder that he had ordered, namely that of SR in August of 2022. That claim is demonstrably false. The song the government relied upon as evidence against Mr. Banks, Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, a song that was recorded by another artist, Babyface Ray, and in which Mr. Banks recorded a feature for, could not have been a commercialization of Mr. Banks' alleged murder for hire of SR as the government represented to the grand jury. That is because Mr. Banks recorded the lyrics for Wonderful Wayne 7 months before the incident even happened. The government's misrepresentation in the superseding indictment, whether knowing or reckless, undermines the integrity of the grand jury's true bill against Mr. Banks. The court should dismiss the superseding indictment against him as a result." Now, the defense argues that the court has the power to dismiss an indictment that the grand jury returned based on information that the government knew at the time to be or later learned to have been false. Joe, so you got to have a good foundation here, right? Talk to me about that argument, because I guess the counter argument would be, well, in the end, based on the prosecution's allegations, he did exactly what he rapped about. So it's, maybe it's not necessarily predicting the future. He maybe anticipated what was going to happen and did it.
I think that if I'm the defense, I'm going to focus on the misrepresentation, assuming there was a misrepresentation. Right now, it's a horse of another color. To your second point, if in fact the timing of the lyrics was not important and wasn't presented as such to the grand jury. Grand jury typically has a low standard, right? You just need to show probable cause to show that a crime has taken place, and then you get held over for trial. However, if they made a representation or suggested that those lyrics and that song came out after the murder, and it talked about something in the past tense that had happened, I think that the defense is strong standing on the foundation of saying, you've made a misrepresentation of the evidence, and fundamentally, this thing is sitting on a shaky foundation, and it can't go forward based on the presentation that you've made.
Let me ask you that. If there is even one piece of evidence that's presented to a grand jury that's problematic, does that mean the indictment has to be thrown out? Could the court look at that and say, listen, we don't know if that was the reason the grand jury returned their indictment? It might have been a small piece, but what about all the other evidence they presented? Or is the argument, if you presented one piece of evidence that either was, intentionally or recklessly shown that was presented that turned out to be false or inaccurate, is there grounds to throw it out?
That's a good question. The standard is low, right? And so the prosecution is not necessarily going to be penalized for every small error or for every imperfection, as it were. Okay. So perhaps it could still survive with the judge saying, well, we don't know if that's the actual reason that they did it. However, the problem that they have here is he apparently was central because this superseding indictment makes him a defendant. And before, he wasn't a defendant. He's graduated from not being a defendant to being a defendant. So how is it that this particular piece of evidence isn't key and isn't fundamental? And so, of course, if I'm the defense, that's what I would be saying.
By the way, I didn't mention this. There's a First Amendment argument here, right? That this violates the First Amendment. Can you talk about that?
Right, for sure. I mean, I'm expressing myself. I can say the things that I want to say in a rap record or any kind of record. And you could go back and there's country records and there are pop records and there are R&B records that talk about all kinds of things. It's just that there's this notion that with hip hop, quote, glorifying violence, that suddenly now we're going to use these things to prosecute them. But does that mean that the free speech, the First Amendment has gone away? No, absolutely not. He can absolutely rap about what he wants to rap about. And that doesn't mean just because the story is violent, just because a Tupac story is violent, just because a Biggie Smalls story is violent. That doesn't mean that that ought to be used to in turn put together the cogs to actually criminally prosecute someone, because there is still free speech.
Now, the counter argument would be, it's a statement. It's a statement that, is relevant. It's on point with the actual issue, the case. How can we not be able to use it same way? If somebody does an interview, like I'm talking about the Karen Reed case, right? She does an interview. Yes, it's a media interview, but technically can be used against you. What you say can be used against you. Let me ask you this, though, about it. If the government was wrong, okay, if the government didn't realize the time frame of it, or even now, they suggest that, it was a problem, we shouldn't have included it. How could they make that mistake, assuming it was a mistake or an error in some fashion? I mean, doesn't that show a potential weakness in the prosecution overall? I'm not saying that's what they're arguing. I'm not saying that's where this is going to go. But if you take the defense's argument as true, that would be a big slip up for the prosecution, no?
Yeah, and I'll go out on a limb and say that sometimes prosecutors don't necessarily understand hip hop culture. It's almost like a text without context. So you got to really understand the time, the place, the audience. Sometimes they might speak in ways that seem direct to somebody that's outside of the culture, but doesn't necessarily, but can mean several things to someone inside the culture. So it would certainly be a flub, big time, right? But it wouldn't be the first time that such a thing has happened, where somebody looking through the window, particularly of hip hop culture, doesn't understand what's being said other than their desired use of it, right? And so maybe that's a situation. It shouldn't be. Listen, there's got to be a prosecutor back there that's got the context, that knows what's going on in the street. They prosecute folks that are in hip hop culture that aren't necessarily rappers. They prosecute folks that are, accused of being drug dealers, this or that and the other, in gangs or whatever it may be. And as part of that is understanding the language, understanding what someone means when they say something, understanding manner and timing and all those other things. That's part of their job. The mob speaks in a certain language too. In order to successfully prosecute him, you got to understand the language. So there might be reasons for them screwing that up, but there wouldn't be excuses.
So the defense motion continues, actually. I want to get more into it. It says, quote, the indictment's assertion about Mr. Banks' lyrics, their timing and their meaning is false. When Banks wrote the cited lyrics, SR's killing was still 7 months in the future. For Banks to have been writing about SR would thus have been impossible. The only open question is how such patently false information came to be within the grand jury's purview to begin with. One answer is that the prosecutors who prepared and presented the government's evidence knew that the evidence was false. Another is that the prosecutor who presented the evidence did not know it to be false, but the witness who conveyed it did. And the third answer is that the evidence was obtained and presented with reckless disregard for patent falsity. As explained further below, regardless of the answer, dismissal is warranted. And that actually brings now the defense to their next argument to the judge, which is, quote, if the court is uncertain whether the false information that the government presented to the grand jury requires dismissal, the court should order the government to produce the transcripts and evidence from the grand jury proceedings. Now, Joe, we'll get into this argument a little bit more, but generally speaking, I know under the federal rules, a court may authorize disclosure of grand jury matters if the defense asks pursuant to a motion to dismiss. I just wonder, how often is that request successful to get that material? Because grand jury material is secret, generally speaking, right?
Right, it generally is, and you want to preserve the integrity of the grand jury, but it's almost, grand jury is kind of like this secret thing, and we go and we're not telling you what we're mixing up and what we're putting together, but we produce an indictment, right? But I would argue that this particular notion, this particular set of circumstances would justify revealing the information from the grand jury transcript because it's directly on point to the presentation that the prosecution made in order to get the indictment. And so it is unusual because you want to preserve the integrity of grand jury proceedings. Grand juries are carried out a certain way for a certain reason. But that being said, in a situation like this, where you could potentially have something go on that's demonstrably false, and you actually make it from not having an indictment to an indictment based on false information that may have been presented falsely, maybe knowingly, and certainly recklessly, at least, I think you need to know about it.
Now, let me continue with the defense argument here, Joe. So they say, quote, "The problem with these productions, however, is that Mr. Banks did not create these videos, and the government has failed to show any nexus between these manufactured video clips and Mr. Banks. These videos were not created nor posted at Mr. Banks' direction. The internet users who posted the videos, including at OTF Edit and at My Mixtapes, are apparent fan pages maintained by people with no affiliation to Mr. Banks or only the family Inc. The court should order production of the grand jury transcripts to clarify whether in charging Mr. Banks, the grand jury erroneously attributed these or other fan page edits to Mr. Banks, as the government has clearly done." And to bolster that argument, the defense included sworn statements from two producers who worked with Banks on this song and other projects. First, you have Justin Gibson, also known as Just Vibes. So he's a producer and sound engineer who says that he had been working with Lil Durk since 2021. And in his statement, he writes, "On January 25th, 2022, I had a recording session with Mr. Banks where we recorded the song Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, which at the time we called Too Toxic. I loaded the song up around 5:39 p.m. Mr. Banks then wrote the verse right there in the studio, and we recorded the song and finished in less than an hour. Once we recorded the song, I bounced out a rough draft, saved a copy in audio format, and named it Toxic Babyface featuring Lil Durk at 6:33 p.m. After that, we continued with the rest of the session." And now remember, the shooting at the California gas station happened months later on August 19th, 2022. So the motion includes a second sworn statement, this one from a music producer and audio engineer named Ahmad Sharif. He says, "I received Durk Banks' verse and lyrics for Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy from Justin Gibson on July 22nd, 2022, so the month before. After July 22nd, 2022, I received no other additional lyrics or modifications to the original lyrics from Durk or anyone in Durk's camp." And Sheriff then talks about the apparent edits to the song, which includes Quando Rondo screaming, "No, no." I have reviewed certain YouTube links concerning the song Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy. As a producer and audio engineer who worked on Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, I can confirm that the audio and video clips featuring audio of an individual yelling no, reportedly from a news clip, are not from the original recording. These clips appear to be fan edits, specifically for social media platforms such as TikTok, and are altered, fabricated, and inauthentic versions of the song. Joe, it's a pretty good argument from the defense. Again, if that's true, prosecution didn't figure that out?
Yeah, and you don't even know whether or not what you used actually came from the artist. That's one of the big points that they're making here, is that there were things that were edited later, and that's why it's so much more important for us to understand what the presentation actually was to the grand jury, because demonstrably we could actually probably show that this is something that came from a fan's edit as opposed to what Lil Durk actually did in the studio. So yeah, so there's another reason there that this has ended up being a problem.
Now, I will tell you, I mean, today's day and age, it's hard to know what's authentic. I see a movie trailer, it looks like the real thing. It was a fan page. AI? Oh my gosh. You think this is going to be the end of the problem? Now, in the conclusion of this filing, the defense says, a prosecutor who knowingly secures an indictment based upon false information or who allows a falsely obtained indictment to persist routs the grand jury from its central protective function. That is clearly what happened here. For the foregoing reasons, the court should dismiss the superseding indictment against Mr. Banks. In the alternative, the court should compel disclosure of the relevant underlying grand jury proceedings. Joe, how's this going to shake out? You think the court is going to agree, dismiss the indictment? Could they refile it without the lyrics? Do you think the prosecution is going to fight back at it? Because I'll tell you, at last check, we checked the federal court records, and as of this recording on Tuesday morning, neither the judge nor the prosecution has responded to this motion to dismiss. So how's this going to all shake out in the end?
I would think that the defense is going to get one or the other, one being either dismissal of the indictment or a compelling of a review of the transcript so that they can know. I mean, they've got some pretty good notions. Those declarations under penalty of perjury, of course, would tend to suggest very strongly that what came out and what they are using is not, it happened, was done many months prior to the actual killing, and that it might be even in a different form what Lil Durk actually did versus what was actually released and possibly used. Under those circumstances, I think you gotta do something so that you preserve the integrity of the grand jury process. So the defense is hoping for that. In a case like this, based on these particular facts, I think one or the other ought to happen.
Joe Richardson, man, I love having you on. Thank you so much for taking the time. It was great seeing you, and we'll see what happens next.
It's going to be crazy. Thanks much, Jesse. You guys be good.
They got me feeling like I'm academics. No, Lil Durk has filed a few motions to try to get out of jail. Number one, there's a motion to dismiss. And it's basically saying defendant Durk Banks, through his counsel of record, is moving the court to dismiss the superseding indictment against him in this matter. In the alternative, he moves to compel disclosure of the grand jury minutes and evidence the government presented to the grand jury. Now, here's the thing. Grand jury proceedings are usually secret, and unlike a preliminary, not preliminary hearing. What the fuck? Am I tweaking? I am tweaking right now. Grand jury versus, all right. No, it is a preliminary hearing. No. Yeah. It's not called preliminary hearing. What the fuck is it called? Maybe it is called preliminary hearing. All right. Yes. So a grand jury, the person who's accused doesn't show up. His lawyers are rarely ever present. In few times they are. If you have preliminary hearings, for like for example with the Rocky case, you get to kind of like give a counter argument to what the state is trying to say or the feds are trying to say you should be charged with. So Durk, for whatever reason, his counsel or his lawyers are saying, yo, this is complete bullshit. They got me on this murder for hire charge. And they're now even skeptical of how he was even indicted. So they're like, we're requesting the minutes or the transcript of what went on in the grand jury proceeding that y'all charged me with murder. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is complete bullshit. So it says the motion is based on the attached memorandum of points and authorities and whatever. The undersigned assigned assistant U.S. attorneys in this matter had a meet and confer regarding this matter on this date. Okay. So they're citing a lot of case law and essentially saying that, you know, here we go. They're believing that half of the reason why Durk is indicted is because the feds are using music. And in one of the songs, it's a song called, let me see if I can find it. He did a song for Babyface Ray on Wonderful Wayne. By the way, this is listed by the prosecutors as one of the main reasons why they feel like Durk is bragging about the murder. And they said he only did it because of Babyface Ray's request. The song in question was ultimately attributed to this album and was credited to Durk. Durk recorded his portion in January of 2022. If you don't remember, I believe Lil Pop was killed in August or later of 2022, and that being his last involvement in the song. Further production was done by producers and other industry professionals, but no changes to the content or lyrics were ever made by Banks or anyone associated with Banks. All this information was readily available to the government outside of four corners of the superseding indictment, but important to this court's consideration of egregiousness of government conduct and necessity of the relief contained in this motion. The issue of the time of the lyrics was addressed by the undersigned defense counsel at Mr. Banks' detention hearing on this date. To counter this argument, counsel for the government posited to the court that even if the lyrics themselves were written several months prior to the charged conduct, a version of this song was modified and added audio from a news clip of Tyquin Bowman, which is Quanorano, on top of the original song. So they're saying that because there was a news footage used of Quanorano's murder, Quanorano's cousin's murder, Lil Pop, they're saying that you were trying to take some credit. Even if the original lyrics you wrote wasn't about that, when you then added the news clip after the murder, that means you were trying to take some shots and you were probably hinting that you were involved somehow. To counter this argument, counsel for the government, following his assertion at the detention hearing and unaware of any such modification attributed to Mr. Banks. So they're saying Durk didn't make that modification. The government replied with videos that appears to be taken from a recent open source YouTube searches that in no way connected to Mr. Banks. It further complicates what evidence, argument, and instructions the government presented to the grand jury and will be addressed in more specificity below. Now, it's very important we talk about grand jury. So a grand jury, their job is not to find evidence or look at evidence with the lens of, is it provable beyond a reasonable doubt? That's trial. It's all about probable cause. And to simplify probable cause literally means that, there's three levels. Reasonable suspicion, which is behavior, or not behavior necessarily, but reasonable suspicion means a law enforcement officer has reasonable suspicion that a crime has committed or could be in progress of committing or could commit in the future based on A, B, or C. Okay. So you have reasonable suspicion. Probable cause is that you have good enough reason to not only suggest a crime is committed, but that but evidence of the crime being committed is either in a car or whatever the case is. Reasonable doubt, which means it's no doubt in your mind that this person did the crime or a crime was committed, right? So they're saying that, you know, for this grand jury proceeding, how could they link Durk to a murder for hire in a probable cause setting? Because that's what grand juries do. When there were facts that were incorrect before that weren't corrected, right? So the issue is over the timing of his recording, and they're saying that it was recorded way before the death, okay? All right. Now, here's the interesting thing about that. I don't think that's why he's going to get denied bond or even granted bond. I think the judge is kind of looking at the totality of the conduct, and what we don't know is the snitches at this point. I don't think the feds want to reveal their hand too quickly by just announcing who's telling. So I think that's why they're using you know, these other things and kind of like nitpicking rather than just like announce that, hey, we have a cooperant, right? Even though there is someone that is listed in the indictment that seems to be clearly cooperating, which will be one of the shooters. All right. Now, that's what Durk's team is saying. Now, we have to properly vet this by going to what the feds are saying, right? Here we go. Okay, so the feds are saying this. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think this is it. Hold on. Wait, give me 1 second. I'm trying to get the... I don't yet have the entire motion to oppose, so I really only have Durk's side of this. So I'll show it, but we don't have the full thing. Give me a second. Okay. So another document kind of like, you know, they're trying to get Durk out, but their only thing is to try to contest these lyrics. They're like, yo, half of the reason they believe that Durk has brazenly admitted to these things, he's acting reckless, and he's a part of this murder is because there is a song that came out that's called Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy that people and the government thinks he's bragging about this murder. And it references a audio from a news clip that was taken shortly after Lil Pop's murder where Quando screamed, "No, no," and this is where the lyrics then match that story. Told him they got an Addy, go, go, got location, go, go, green light, go, 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 go. Look on the news and see your son. You screaming, no, no. And he says, pussy. Okay. This is Durk's team talking here. It says the defense counsel produced an affidavit from the sound engineer and music producer, basically saying this was recorded before. The song could have been a commercialization of Mr. Banks' participation in the murder because it happened before, and the government supposedly led the grand jury to believe that. It says when addressing the affidavit, the government referenced a music video not yet produced in the defense containing the Wonderful Wayne lyrics of the song alongside news footage of the shooting at issue. The government told the court, Your Honor, we actually object to this proffer in line of argument about Mr. Banks' lyrics being recorded several months before the murder. It says the bottom line is there is a video that was filmed showing the defendant rivals screaming no, no, and that was placed over these lyrics. So Durk's team is seemingly taking this idea that you have him locked up because he supposedly rapped about this stuff. I don't think that's the only reason why, but we'll keep going. This is a new package for Durk. It says he's a devoted husband, father, son, and an internationally well-known, renowned musician and recording artist. And he should be granted pretrial on reasonable conditions that include the following: a bond secured partially paid in by $900,000 in equity in real estate properties, $1 million in cash tendered by Alamo Records. So clearly Alamo Records, which I think now is distributed by Sony, they agreed to pay $1 million if they could get him out, and $150,000 in cash tendered by, who the hell is this? Nizar Ali Bobby? What the fuck? Hold on, give me 1 second. Who's this nigga? Oh, fuck. Who's this guy? He's from Atlanta. Like he's some rich kid. Like, how old is he? I don't know. Anyway, so $150,000 in cash tendered by this guy who's Mr. Banks' business associate. Home detention, so they want him on house arrest, or they're suggesting house arrest because this is Durk's team is trying to make a package with electronic monitoring, around the clock security measures, security services, ensuring compliance on all conditions imposed by the court, and reporting to pretrial services, and five additional third-party sureties and guarantors to satisfy a bond amount that the court determines to be reasonable. Wow. For the foregoing conclusions, he respectfully requests that the court reconsiders his previous order of detention and permit his release secured by a robust bond package. Okay. Now, it appears that this is, hold on. Looked like he was denied. So the magistrate, no, never mind. No, this is an old order by the magistrate when he just got locked up. They denied his release then. And the exhibit for the motion to release is, this is the producer saying, yo, I worked with him on the song. It was made way before the murder happened. Exhibit 2 is, who's this? He's an audio engineer. Okay. Okay. All right. So essentially, I don't think Durk's gonna be granted bond. The charge is too serious. If his only way to try to prove that he's not caught up in this murder is to say, yo, y'all are using my lyrics to try to help detain me, and I wrote those lyrics way before that murder ever happened. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is a serious case. It's murder. They're not gonna just let him out to go home to his mansion, right? So I completely understand that. Cool.
Cultfigga. Follow me.